them. And after we emerge from this, we will be stronger than ever. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR, but with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
Welcome in. Happy Thursday. It is the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. Oh, we have some things for you all today. Yeah, I think we're on to Oklahoma. We'll talk some Oklahoma in just a little bit here with Tyler McComas, who we've spoken to before on the show. What have their first two games look like and the start of the Brent Venables era. Jacob Padilla, Sam McEwen, Michael Bruntz, of course, covering the Huskers and much more. Jacob on volleyball a little bit as well. We have a sports game tonight. It should be wacky between the Chargers and the Chiefs.
Not only that, but we have a new media launch tonight. I know they did a preseason game together, but this is the big time. Amazon Prime. How does it work? Are you going to have to call your dad and tell him how to find the Chiefs game tonight?
Yes, you are.
Are you going to have to is someone going to complain about the on-demand option? I came in late. Where can I find the game start to finish?
What I'm really looking forward to tomorrow is for Awful Announcing or somebody to throw together just a collection of all the tweets of old people yelling at where's this game and why can't I find it?
Yep.
I love the Chiefs. I've watched every Chiefs game for my entire life since 1972.
Since Len Dawson was ripping heaters in the locker room at halftime.
And it just so happens that I live in Indiana. And guess what? I couldn't find the game. I bought all of these extra sports packages on my cable to make sure I can watch NFL football on Thursday nights. And what do you tell me now? I have to watch it on my phone. I have to watch it on the computer. Obscene by the NFL. So I'm just waiting for that story article to be to come out tomorrow.
I'm also very excited for everyone to complain about the ad nauseum of Lord of the Rings television show ads you're going to see tonight. You're going to see a lot.
Oh yeah. This is exciting. Another thing. So that's the lineup today.
The game's pretty good.
Powered by the Roofery's John Higgins Weather Guard. Yes, we will. We'll take a dive on the Chiefs and Chargers tonight. Yeah, should be a pretty fun one. Herbert, Mahomes, sign me up. They played in two pretty wacky games last year. We'll jump into that as we go on throughout the show. We have retirement from Roger Federer. We have a hit piece on the Royals on The Athletic. A deep dive into, well, at least a dive into why they haven't turned things around. That one's just for me. Might spend a minute on that. How it feels going into the Oklahoma game this weekend. And today, we debut. We have this little thing that we had. Josh, why don't you pick that up? Why don't you show the camera? Or tilt it that way. That works too. That you see on Josh's screen there, if you're watching with us at 1620thezone.com,
Which you should.
We do have visual effects. This is still AM radio, but we do have visual effects now. So find us at 1620thezone.com or on YouTube, 1620 The Zone TV. There is a wheel, and look at it. It comes with its own sound effects. We thought we were going to have to do this the old school radio way where we just fake spin. Yeah, we'll take a look behind the curtain here for a second. Sometimes in radio, when they talk about spinning wheels, they just click a button and it just... Not us. Yeah, I know. Shocking,
goodness.
Right? Not us. We have
Why didn't you report this the second you knew it, Connor?
So, yeah. The media. So, yesterday, when we started out the show, we compiled a list. I had, I think, 25 or 30 that we initially brought to the table that were quote-unquote real candidates. And then you all added probably about 25, 30 more that we have thrown into a giant pile. And so what happens, we will spin the wheel. Whoever, Dave says on the YouTube feed, the wheel deserves its own camera. We're cooking up something on that. We're gonna think about the best way to do this. But I like it with Josh. It's like Josh's kid.
Yeah, of which I have one. But
and you have a wheel.
When it's time to spin, I'll move it a little closer to the camera so you can read the names and hear the leather
I
strap.
Think what
click.
the people want is its own section, like just wheel cam. We're looking at it at all times, even though it's not moving for about 98% of the show.
Yeah.
But just to see the wheel, see the possibilities of the day. So on the first installment of the Wheel of Coaches, we have 8 names, some of which are real candidates for the Nebraska football job, some of which are not, but could be fun to talk about. We will spin the wheel. Whoever it lands on, we will talk about we'll ask questions. We'll rate them 1 to 5 in various categories based on their potential candidacy and how the fans would get behind it. And we have a whole bunch of categories that we're going to go through. We'll rate them there. And then we will replace that person's name, whoever it lands on, we'll replace with another name out of the pile of 50, I think it was 55 names that we came up with yesterday. So if you didn't participate in our opening segment yesterday, you didn't get your guy in. Sorry. Bet you didn't think that was going to happen, did you?
We posted the job.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
The application window has closed.
Yeah, we have the candidates now, and you missed your window. So we'll replace the person, then we'll spin it again tomorrow, and we'll spin it again on Monday. We'll spin it again on Tuesday and Wednesday, and likely for the next. What, Josh? Did we do the math on this?
If we do this once a day, we can do this for 11 weeks.
11 weeks gets us to, so that's counting 5-day weeks, right?
Right.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That, Josh, gets us to December 1st.
Oh gosh, that's almost
which is
the exact time we need it to go
which
to.
Which is actually the time that we might need it to go to. So by then, we will have thoroughly talked about all the potential candidates for Nebraska's head coach opening. And so this is the place you need to come to get that analysis. Yeah, we might talk about some people that probably won't get the job. If you'll notice, on the first installment of the Wheel, ESPN's Mina Kimes is on it. Why? because she said on Sunday, fine, I'll coach Nebraska. Or Saturday, maybe as Nebraska was losing. But there is a good selection there on the initial installment of the wheel. Jay asked from yesterday. I didn't get to listen to the whole show yesterday, but was Sean Payton on the list? You bet he is. So at some point in the next 50 plus shows, we will be talking about Sean Payton's potential candidacy for the Nebraska football gig.
Now he's truly unemployed. So what logo do I put? Do I put his face?
Yes,
Okay.
you do. I like that idea. I don't know if anybody can come up with a better one. So tune in. We'll spin it. I don't know when we're going to spin it today, but we're going to spin it. Don't worry. It'll change times a lot based on what we have going on in the show over the next couple weeks, but we will be spinning the wheel once a day until we have run out of names to spin it on. Jimmy asks, can we rig it to land on Dave Aranda every day? No, we cannot. Because once it lands on Dave Aranda leaves.
I can peel that name and logo right off.
Yep. I want to give a special shout out to Josh for Arts and Crafts Time.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those they don't teach you this in radio school moments.
Did you make did you make the whole pile yet, or are you just going day by day and you're just going to replace it with
I
one?
was pressed for time this morning, so I made today's batch. In the afternoons to come, I will get ahead of the game.
Okay, you do you. There's no reason to put all the 55 names on there. And like I said yesterday, I am convinced that one of those names will be Nebraska's next head coach.
I think so too. I think we got the next Nebraska head coach in this group of 55.
He or she is in the pile.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the pile. So this is both hopefully entertaining and definitely stupid, but maybe informative as well.
Hopefully. Now, hopefully, it hits all three for a holy trifecta.
I love the stupidity. Stupidity is the number one for me. Greg and Lincoln says use Kevin James's face for Sean Payton.
Now, I thought about using the photo of Sean Payton from the Kevin James movie where he's wearing the terrible black wig and he's dressed as the janitor.
It's, have you made the Kevin James slide or the Sean Payton slide yet?
I have not.
Well, there you go. There's options.
Mm-hmm.
Put it out there. All right. That's the show. We will spin the wheel today. Justin asks on Twitter, on the JTech Instructions on Twitter feed, is Carol Frost on the wheel? Probably a better coach than her son.
Whoa. Well, yeah.
We don't talk about the past. It's in the past. Once the wheel comes out, we're looking ahead. Looking to the future. We're on to Oklahoma and we're on to 2023. And yes, it is September 15th. Okay, so we'll do that at some point during the show today, probably in the 1 o'clock hour somewhere. But a lot of things to get into, including what is to come this week between Nebraska and Oklahoma, and some questions that I have for you guys there that I want you to chime in on. Bill Moose has been quoted, and in an On3 article, on an On3 national article by Ivan Mizell, it triggered me.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't like that for you.
Yep. So we'll talk about that and, the position that Nebraska's in from an administrative position right now compared to maybe what it was in late 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. So that's on the show today. All right. We're off and running once again. Stay tuned for the wheel. If you have anything for us today, you'd like to hear it, Connor at 1620thezone.com in the Equitable Bank inbox. You can tweet at Connor Happer at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You can give us a call on the Les Hills Harley Davidson hotline, 402-951-1620. You can also text into that number as well. Good one. On the text line here. After the coach is actually picked, you guys have to come back to the audio of you discussing that coach's potential to see how right or wrong you were. Well, we'll have to make, okay, so what we'll have to do there, because we're not going to just I don't know, I guess we could isolate it, but We'll have to just make a note of which coach we've picked by day. Josh is a good book.
I can log some things.
He's a logger. Right.
That's a good idea. Whoever had that.
That would be Tommy on the text line.
Shout out to Tommy.
Twommy. All right, we'll take a break. Let's talk some Oklahoma since it is Oklahoma week. With Tyler McComas, who, by the way, is going to be in Omaha tomorrow doing his show.
Oh, yeah?
That's right.
Is it going to be in this building doing a show?
Not in this building. He will be at a local sports bar.
You can sell things like that? Oh, okay.
Tyler McComas joins us.
That's
next.
very creative.
Joins us next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on the crossover.
There was one year Nebraska played out in Boulder that Ralphie didn't run because he was in heat.
Oh, no. How do you know that?
So it would be a she,
So
right?
she did not take off.
Does anybody believe a word that he's talking
Yeah,
about?
Google Buffaloes in heat.
Sharp and Benning in the morning. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Another warm and breezy day ahead Thursday with partly to mostly cloudy skies. South wind will gust 20 to 30 miles per hour. We'll be dry in the metro heading into the evening with a chance for a few showers and storms out to the west. Highs in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Steve Sipple breaks down the Georgia Southern game, new coaching developments, and previews the Oklahoma game. Tonight at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5, program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults and $5 for children. Sponsored by Jones Barrel Company and Ray Martin Company.
After 24 years as an Omaha staple, Horseman's Park Simulcast facility is getting ready for major renovations on Sunday, September 18th. The Simulcast facility is preparing to move to its transitional infield location. So before casino construction begins, don't miss this opportunity to watch and wager on over 700 TVs. Take advantage of food and drink specials, door prizes, and so much more. Come enjoy Horseman's Park before we move to the track infield. Open 7 days a week. Horseman's Park, Omaha's best bet.
Can't wait for Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard's September 23rd fall opening? Well then, come to the Cider and Sunflower Festival, September 16th, 17th, and 18th. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is open 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday, with fireworks on Friday, and Sundays till 9 p.m. Season passes will be accepted during this festival weekend, and you can purchase individual tickets online and at the gate. So come on out at Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska.
Dell Technologies' semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks you can actually speak another language. Como si fuera magia.
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Sunday morning is all about church, eggs, and the Sunday paper. But right next to church, it's made for hot takes and reactions. Severe Reactions. Michael Severe is back on 1620 The Zone with Severe Reaction. Sundays 8 to 10 and doesn't hold back on what went right and what went wrong on Saturday. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Only on 1620 The Zone.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
All right, welcome back in. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you in the Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. All right, we can finally act like it's Oklahoma week now. This is supposed to be a week of celebration and reminiscing. And theoretically, at the beginning of the season, we were talking about, well, remember what the line was over the summer of 4.5? Some buzz on Nebraska. Things have changed quite significantly this week, but not mostly from the Nebraska side. So let's talk about the other side with Tyler McComas, who does radio in Oklahoma City at 94.7 FM. Tyler, hello. How are you?
I am good. I am super excited to see my friend Connor Happer in person for the first time ever tomorrow afternoon. I cannot wait.
Yeah, we've basically had like an internet relationship before. So yeah, we actually get to meet in person and in public, which is good. So, nobody's, there's no nothing weird going on with that. So we're fired up for that. No, you start your journey up to Omaha tomorrow, doing the show here, and then off to Lincoln on Saturday.
Yeah, and that's going to be the journey for a lot of OU fans, and I'm sure that this is probably normally the case for a Nebraska home weekend, but a lot of OU fans realized 2 to 3 months ago, wow, there's no rooms in Lincoln. So your options were either get a hotel room in the town surrounding Lincoln or go to Omaha. And I think a lot of OU fans are going to be in Omaha probably starting today and on into tomorrow. There's like a pep rally at the ballpark tomorrow night. There's going to be a lot of OU fans up there this weekend.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I'd imagine so. And maybe a little less enthusiasm from Nebraska fans. That probably helps OU fans get in the door. I do want to talk about that piece of it as we go on throughout here. But let's talk about the first couple games first. Has it lived up to expectations so far? Or I guess what were your expectations to start? Obviously, the schedule's been pretty light to start for OU. But what have you seen so far out of this team that you like or don't?
Well, the offense has been a mix. Like when they've been good, they've looked elite. Like the first 3 possessions of the year, they come away with touchdowns on all of those. We're sitting there at the end, or really at the start of the second quarter in game 1 saying, OU's ran 15 plays and they've scored 21 points. Oh my gosh, this offense is just as good as the Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray led offenses. And then they have a lull the next 15 minutes. And then the second half against UTEP, you see them go really quick and score a lot of points. And then they play Kent State, and they have 7 rushing yards in the first half, and they don't score their first points until under a minute left in the second quarter. And then they come out in the third quarter and put the game away in effectively about 5 minutes of time. So it's been really hit and miss with the offense so far. When they go up tempo and they go really fast, they look really good. But when they're bogged down a little bit and they can't use that up tempo, not so much. And the running game, and especially the offensive line, has really kind of struggled so far throughout the first 2 games. That is by far and away the biggest worry by OU fans heading into Saturday is, can OU run the ball? And I know that pretty much everybody's been able to run the ball against Nebraska this year, but that's still the number one question. It's like, if you can't run the ball on these guys, then you've got some real issues.
Yeah,
but
I think.
Connor,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Defensively has been great. They haven't allowed a big play really as of this year. The tackling is much better. Teams have tried to throw the ball deep on it.
Nope. He's gone.
That's what you get for talking ill of Nebraska.
Man, if that was the case, everybody would have got hung up on this week. What's that? Nebraska's defense is bad? Click. What if we were that type of show? That would be amazing. We were actually talking about that earlier in the week. What if we were just like a yelly show? You don't come in here and you talk bad about Nebraska. You're gone, Tyler. Well, we'll get him back here momentarily. But that is one thing that you that certainly pops out about Oklahoma over the first 2 games. If they can find that blend there of having a really good offense as they've had for the last couple of years, or certainly through the Lincoln Riley era, and mix that with a good defense, that's going to be a scary team. Okay, Tyler, continue on the defense.
Defense has been great, man. They've allowed so many big plays over the past several years, both in the run game and the pass game. Teams have tried to go deep on them. They haven't allowed a deep ball as of yet. They only allowed 3 points. They allowed 3 points to Kent State, who has a relatively good offense. Only allowed 3 points and scored 2 points of their own with the safety. So the big surprise this year is not that the defense is good, but they've been good so quickly.
Yeah, I think there's like a protection of the defense element that has just not been there with Oklahoma over the last several years. That's a Brent Venables, stamp right there. Like, you look at them and you sort of wondered, okay, they've been a high-powered offense, maybe not so good on defense over the last several years, and it feels like Brent Venables has come in and immediately put his stamp on this team. That's been, I think, one of the most impressive things to me early of how they've been able to sort of mix that. Obviously, the talent, what they have, helps, but it looks like a Brent Venables team.
It does, man. The effort's there. Again, they're just fundamentally a better defense, and that's just made huge improvement so far for this OU defense. Now, is this the best offense in Nebraska that they're going to face up to this point? I think so. Is Nebraska going to offer some challenges that maybe UTEP and Kent State can't? Sure. But is there a confidence level that OU is actually going to play pretty good defense against the Huskers this Saturday? For the first time in a while, yeah, there's some legitimate belief that I think a defense can help win you a game around here.
Obviously, it's different, but how would you compare Dillon Gabriel to the past few Oklahoma quarterbacks?
Well, left-handed, that's the obvious
Yeah.
one, right? He doesn't have the quick release of some of the guys before him. He's got some shake in the open field. If you go back and watch that opening possession of the season against UTEP, you'll see him pull the ball on his own read and score a touchdown where he looked impressive. And by the way, I do think the quarterback run game is going to factor into OU's offense early on Saturday. Look, he's not Baker Mayfield. He's not Kyler Murray. I don't even necessarily think that he's Jalen Hurts. But he's pretty good. I mean, he doesn't match up with those big three that we've seen here recently. But is he a good enough quarterback to get OU to a Big 12 championship game and win the conference? I think so. Like, I would rate him as a, really good college quarterback. He's not going to be a first-round draft pick like a couple of those other guys have been. He's solid. He hasn't made a mistake so far. OU hasn't turned the ball over for the first time through 2 games in like 70 or 80 years. So there's something. He's going to take care of the football, make good decisions. 75% completion percentage last week. I mean, he's really good, but he's never going to be viewed as the best in school history like some of these other guys.
Which side of the ball, and this goes into how they play and all that stuff, but which side of the ball looks like it has a higher ceiling, the offense or the defense?
I think it's crazy it is to say. I do think it's the defense, because we're still trying to figure out who the number 2 receiver is behind Marvin Mims. Now, there's talent there for sure, but it just hasn't really happened yet for anyone outside Marvin Mims. I think OU's still trying to figure out who their best running back is between Eric Gray, Marcus Major, and even the true freshman Javonte Barnes. I think the offensive line will get better, but at the same time, do they have the potential to be elite? I don't think so. This defensive line's got dudes, man, and they're deep. Danny Stutzman just played the best game at linebacker at OU in maybe like the past decade. And they've got some secondary players as well that are long and rangy. I actually think it's the defense, and I don't think I would have said that a month ago, man.
I guess, I don't know, it's sort of a complicated question, but Venables taking his team on the road into a potentially hostile environment. I don't know what it's going to be like on Saturday. It's going to be weird. I think there will be a good buzz from, fans wanting to, feeling this sort of fresh air maybe in the program. Obviously, Nebraska's in a weird spot from a football standpoint as well, and that sort of, brings you back down to earth. But Venables taking his team into a road environment for the first time. I mean, there's a lot of sort of culture stuff. OU as a program, not very familiar with that idea. How do you think it looks the first time in the new era?
Oh, I 100% think that there's going to be some adversity for this team because there's been adversity for 2 home games against UTEP and Kent State. I mean, obviously that doesn't mean that they can't go up there and play well and win the game, but I don't foresee this team, man, like going up there and the crowd is not a factor whatsoever, and they go up 14-0 seemingly as soon as the ball is kicked, and they win this game easily by 35 points. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the crowd is going to be a factor, especially if the offense sputters on. Like, how will they truly react? I don't know. I mean, that's a huge question around here. I mean, we don't really know that answer until Saturday, but I do think OU fans feel comfortable that Dylan Gabriel has played a lot of college football. Yes, this is by far and away the biggest road environment that he's ever played in before, but there's still some confidence that as much ball as he's played, he's going to handle that situation okay. And I think when you really ask how a team is going to handle their road environment, you're really talking about the quarterback. And in that aspect, I think that he is kind of the guy to lead OU into this type of a tough road environment, because we're all expecting just that, man. 11 a.m. kickoff, who cares? It's going to be a tough environment for a team that kind of has their back against the wall. It's what Brent Venables said. He's like, look, every time I've had my back against the wall in my career, I've came out punching and I've responded really well. And he's like, I adamantly believe that Nebraska is going to do the same thing on Saturday.
It's been a busy week for us up here. You got some news dropped on you yesterday with the future series with the SEC teams. Those teams being told, hey, probably not a good idea to play them. What was the reaction there, and how soon are we looking at for a timeline on OU and the SEC?
Well, bummed that Georgia's not coming to town week 2.
Right.
Because you take Georgia off the schedule, and your home schedule looks like Arkansas State, SMU, Texas Tech. Like, you get the point. It's like the least sexy home schedule ever. So everyone's really now, please let us be in the SEC in 2023. Please don't let us have a home schedule next year that looks like we may not even have a top 40 team coming to Norman next year.
Yeah.
There's still some hope and still some speculation that they're going to be in the SEC in 2023. And right now, man, even though that information is hard to come by, I'll go ahead and guess this is their last year in the Big 12.
It does feel like it's sort of lining up that way, right? I mean,
yeah,
we didn't think that it was going to be like, we hadn't heard anything for so long, but all along I'm thinking, man, it would be crazy if USC and UCLA were in the Big Ten before Oklahoma and Texas were in the SEC, just with the timeline of all that happening. But Yeah, I'm with you. It just feels like it's sort of headed that way. Maybe it's this year, or maybe it's next year, maybe it's the year after. But it does feel like we're headed in that direction. Well, hey, what are your thoughts and what's sort of been the conversation this week on all of how Oklahoma fans see all the Nebraska stuff? And then you're sort of juggling with, man, last year it ended up being a really competitive ball game and it was a lot of fun. And I guess what's the thought of an Oklahoma fan right now just on this game and all that it entails?
I feel like this is going to surprise most of your listeners, but really nervous. As soon as that announcement was made on Sunday, it was, oh God, I can see how this goes. Yeah, Nebraska has an interim coach, a guy that everyone really likes, and they all rally up and play their best game of the year on Saturday. And I think I told you this summer, Connor, that OU fans were already nervous about this game to begin with, because we always viewed this game as, well, whatever Nebraska is the rest of the year, it really doesn't matter. They're going to play their best game of the entire year, week 3 in Lincoln against OU. Like, whatever you've seen from Nebraska doesn't matter. You'll get a different Nebraska team that week. And I think that feeling has kind of stayed true throughout the offseason and even after the losses to Northwestern and Georgia Southern. And I think OU fans are even more emboldened now that this is going to be the best Nebraska performance all year long. Interim head coach, yes, you may not be able to change a ton of things in like 5-6 days time, but there's some real nerves around here for this game, man. And you don't hear a lot of fans thinking that OU is going to go up there and win by 21 points.
How much?
You hear a lot of fans around here thinking that they might win by a field goal.
Yeah,
honestly.
Interesting. How many questions this week have you gotten about the potential of a trap game with K-State coming up next week?
You know what? As much as we've talked about this Nebraska game, we've been looking at that K-State game and saying, is that the best team that you're going to face this year? Because they're looking like a really, really good football team. And they got old Adrian Martinez back at quarterback, which I know you Nebraska fans feel a certain way about him. But they've got a legit defensive line. And OU's offensive line, like I talked about, has been an issue up to this point. So you got to hope that the O-line isn't an issue against Nebraska or isn't an issue against Kansas State. And if it is, those are two games I think everyone around here really believes you could lose if the offensive line isn't a whole lot better.
Yeah. This will be exciting because we've spent a lot of time rehashing the last 4, just for us up here. We've spent a lot of time over this week rehashing sort of the last 4 years, and a lot of the conversations have not been all that fun, obviously. With a slight eye to the future, I think today, tomorrow, it'll finally start to hit. Like, Oklahoma's coming to town. This should be sort of a celebration. This is fun. It's the first time that OU's been here since 2009 in that 10-3 game that was, Nebraska had a really, really good defense that year. I'm just excited to sort of get in that mode because this week has sort of been, it's been a conversation that we weren't exactly, prepared for, at least at this point in the year.
Yeah, no, it's just such a fun rivalry in that it's almost like what's going to happen tomorrow when you come join our show in the first hour. I've never seen Connor in person before, but it's going to be like, hey, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? Good to see you, man. That's the same thing with OU Nebraska fans. Like, a lot of these people have never met each other before, but it's like old, long-lost friends. And that's why once that game got over last year in Norman, we really started to beef up the conversation of, okay, well, it doesn't look like Bedlam's going to continue in the future. Why not OU Nebraska? And I fully expect those conversations around here, at least on the radio. I don't know if the administration's having those. That, man, like, if we've got to replace Bedlam, and it looks like we're going to have to, OU Nebraska every single year would be awesome, even if it's not on Thanksgiving weekend. So I don't know. I just kind of love the aspect that Nebraska fans come here. Everyone's cool with each other. OU fans, we're going to go up there to Lincoln, and we all think that we're going to be treated great because
no doubt.
That's just kind of how it's always gone up there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think it'll be a pretty a relatively welcoming environment, especially with how Nebraska has started the season. All right, Tyler, excited to see you tomorrow. Welcome to town. We'll have, if anybody wants to reach out, you can find him on Twitter at Tyler_McComas and send him some suggestions, something like that. We hope you enjoy your time. And we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. See you tomorrow, man. Good talking to you.
That is Tyler McComas, Sports Talk in Oklahoma City at 94.7 FM. Nervous? Oklahoma?
Sort of a quiet confidence, like you can get got. Certainly you feel worse if you're a Sooner fan about the game than you did last Saturday.
Yeah. Nebraska is going to need to, they're going to need that to work for them. I do think that is the biggest thing that they sort of have for them going into this game, sort of the emotional standpoint. And
does that new energy, new life last more than
the start?
Yeah, more than the kickoff.
Yeah, they're gonna let it fly. Nothing to lose, right?
Yeah, we've said, I think just about every game this year, one of your keys has been you got to get off to a good start.
Survive that first 5 minutes.
That is absolutely a key to the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. So every time I sort of get carried away with that, Josh, though, it's so because this is just how my brain works. Like I get carried away with that, and I'm like, man, you're right. They're gonna have some energy to them. And I think the fans will be fired up, and it'll feel like a big environment. We get the big noon Saturday thing, and there will just be a buzz about it. I'm really excited for that, and I think Nebraska, because of that, like Tyler said, will play really, really well, as well as they can. But how well can they play? Once again, this is what I always go back to. Their defense sucks. Their defense just isn't that good. So what does that even look like?
They've played 3 games, and we don't know what their best looks like.
Right. Yeah. Well, I pulled up the odds again this morning. We're up to 10.5 plus 310 on the money line. Totals come down a hair, 65.5.
Stay away.
Yeah.
We're going to pick it against the spread tomorrow and all those fun things. Yeah. But
for those of you who bet Oklahoma minus 4.5 during the summer, congratulations. You have some added value there. Nebraska at plus 10.5 right now. Okay, good stuff from Tyler. Yes, welcome your Oklahoma brethren into town this weekend. Maybe, don't pity yourself too much. Because I could just see the conversation. Oh, yeah, you're wearing Oklahoma gear from Oklahoma. Well, I'm sad.
Oh,
I'm really sad. I wish I could be like you guys.
Try and take it easy on us. Yeah. No, nobody likes talking to a sad sack, okay?
All right, we will come back. More up next on 1620 The Zone.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Want to know what makes 42 Degrees the source for Kratom, CBD, Delta, and a whole lot more that might be helpful with sore muscles, aching joints, and other ailments? Then stop by any 42 Degree location, talk with the most knowledgeable and friendly staff, and see what Kratom, CBD, and Delta can do for you. Want to know more? Then go to our website, 42degrees.com, and see what our customers say about our staff. 42 Degrees, your source for all your needs. By your mom's house.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgaard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Suicide can be prevented by knowing the warning signs. And most importantly, knowing what to do if you recognize those signs in yourself, a loved one, or even a stranger. There are simple ways you can be there for someone, so they can be here for more tomorrows. Visit moretomorrowsne.org to learn the signs, how to approach the conversation, and where to get help. Or call 988 for help now. That's moretomorrowsne.org.
Ian Eagle here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. From Kansas City, it's a big AFC battle to start Week 2. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs play host to Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers, with both coming off impressive wins and looking for the early upper hand in what may be the best division in football. Join Hall of Famer Tony Baselli and me on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on 1620, The Zone.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up with the promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code WIN for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. Arizona 1-800-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, Kansas 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghhelp.com. Louisiana 1-877-770-STOP. New York 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Wyoming, West Virginia 1-800-522-4700 or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net.
Husker coverage on 1620 The Zone is presented by Tickets for Less. Tickets for Less is your local source for Nebraska football tickets. Compare and save today at ticketsforless.com. All the Nebraska football news, stories, experts, and coverage you need is on 1620 The Zone.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
Get ready for kickoff, Omaha. Rally House has the game day gear you're looking for, including Chiefs sideline gear and the latest college styles.
Nebraska, Cornhuskers, Creighton, Blue Jays, Hawkeye, Cyclones, Chiefs, and Royals. Rally House. It's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
And now, the only cure for our basketball Jones. Hail Varsity's Jacob Padilla on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone, baby.
All right. I feel like with the Open, we're just required to ask Jacob a basketball question, but I don't really have one today.
Don't pigeonhole him. He's so much more than that.
Oh, no, we could ask Jacob about Robert Sarver. Hi, Jacob.
Let's not talk about basketball.
Creighton schedule, DePaul on Christmas. I don't know. There's got to be something in there.
Yeah, that's slightly more interesting, but yeah, I got nothing. The NBA's decision is not surprising at all, but it's still disappointing.
Yeah. So it goes. Okay, that covers our basketball section of the interview. All right, on to football. We'll talk some volleyball as well. I mean, this is the main question. This is what I've been sort of. This is the only one I think for the game. I think it'll be sort of an emotional boost for Nebraska this week, and they can use that to their advantage. How much does that make up for the fact that they haven't really gotten a stop on defense the entire season?
Yeah, that's. I think the biggest question to answer this season is how much can what the changes that Mickey Joseph have planned, what kind of impact can those have? How much of where they are can be fixed in season? And it's particularly on the defensive side of the ball. And I think I kind of wrote about on Wednesday on my Patent Stats column just kind of how they got here, just looking from a recruiting development perspective and retaining talent. They're just at the point where the defense in particular is so shallow. And obviously you have one injury to Nick Henrich, and you're bringing in a true freshman who is still trying to figure out how to play at this level because the rest of those guys in that room apparently haven't developed. And we're seeing, I mean, Colton Feast, credit to him for everything he's done, but we're seeing how shallow they are up front on the defensive line. And there are a lot of guys in that room that aren't playing. And it just kind of goes on and on. You see in the secondary, they're still trying to figure out, all right, who's going to play behind the two starters. And you've got Brandon Moore, who hadn't played since 2021 or 2020 rather, coming in and getting one of the most bizarre encroachment penalties I've ever seen. But they're just in a tough spot right now. And they just, I mean, you look at that go-ahead touchdown from Kyle Van Treese, the quarterback draw, just a brilliant play call from Georgia Southern to target the two least experienced players on that defense. You put Ernest Hausman and Marquise Buford Jr. in a position where they have to make a decision. They don't communicate. Two guys go with the same person, and Van Treese has a wide open hole in the end zone. So that's kind of where they're at. They're struggling right now with the basic things of alignment, assignment, knowing what they need to do, or sticking with what they need to do and doing their job and not trying to do too much. So the defense is in a rough spot right now. And now you've got the best offense that they've played thus far coming to town. So we'll see kind of what changes they can make in season. Like they're in a pretty deep hole right now. But that being said, there's more talent on the defense. I think they're capable of playing better than we've seen, because even the experienced guys haven't played nearly as well as I think they're capable of. So there is, I mean, that's where I think the kind of, if you're looking for a reason to be optimistic, it's like, well, they certainly haven't played up to their ceiling to this point. So there is room for improvement and perhaps a few changes here and there. Interesting, the Mickey Joseph's decision on the defensive side of the ball to have Travis Fisher focus exclusively on the corners and have the corners and the nickels, and have Eric Shenander work with the safeties, because obviously both those positions need some developing right now, and perhaps with one coach for each group, they'll be able to really hammer in on some stuff and help them improve more quickly. But that's kind of what you're banking on. I think there's enough on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
The offensive line is still a question mark, but I think we've seen enough from all the newcomers that there's something there. You can win with this offense. Again, we'll have to see when they face the best defenses, Oklahoma included. Will that offensive line hold them back? But they've at least got the skill talent to be in some games if the defense can make some strides.
All along I thought this would be, they were thin the whole time. They were thin at the start of the year, even before this has all happened to start now at all the spots that we mentioned on the defensive side of the ball. I just thought this would be more of sort of a havoc-y defense and rely a little bit on, whether it's sacks, but explosive plays on defense, but sacks and turnovers. And it just, I mean, they've done sort of what they've been doing over the last couple of years. Like I guess it's now or never, but it's now the time to, get a little bit more aggressive. Mickey alluded to it a little bit on Tuesday. Eric Shenander still the defensive coordinator. I guess, how do you think they push and pull that string this week?
Yeah, they're going to have to at least try, because trying to play it safe isn't working either.
No.
They're hanging back.
It's worse, because then the offense doesn't get the ball.
Yeah. The bend but don't break defense doesn't work if you're going to bend, and then break. And that's kind of what we've seen. So they've got to try something else. Like looking at the personnel, you would hope that there's ways to where they can get more creative getting after the passer, whether it's blitzes or different kind of games up front. I haven't seen a ton of that. Like, I haven't seen a ton of extra pressure. I haven't seen a ton of stunts and things like that. It seems there's just been a lot of, all right, go at the guy in front of you, try to beat him, and we'll see what happens. So like, I don't know, like Shenander and those defensive guys are going to have to try something different. They're going to have to, because again, like, I know they're worried about the big play, but they're giving up the big play anyway.
Yeah, they gotta
at least try to go put yourself with, if you're going to take a risk, take better, or give yourself more upside, give yourself a chance to go make a big play. because right now, again, they couldn't get a stop against Georgia Southern doing what they were doing. So you got to find a way to change things up, to be less predictable, to force the issue a little bit more. Hopefully they can make some plays in the process of doing so, but if not, I mean, it couldn't be much worse than what we saw last week.
If you're Oklahoma on defense, who are you targeting to say, if we shut this guy down or if we take him out a little bit, then we're going to have a pretty good chance?
That's a good question. I mean, Trey Palmer is the guy that has gotten the most targets, that Casey Thompson has gone to the most. Obviously, he's getting open quite a bit, but he hasn't made a ton of big plays. I think you got to start with Anthony Grant, and with their defensive talent up front going up against Nebraska's offensive line, you got to feel like if you're Oklahoma that you've got an advantage there. And if you can do that, then you can force them into some situations where maybe Casey is going to have to take a couple more risks, going to have to make something happen out of nothing. And that's when you can lead them, kind of force them into mistakes. So I think stopping the run, focusing on Anthony Grant, which he's been so good through the first few weeks, even with the offensive line struggling at times, he's found a way to make plays happen. And so I'm guessing that he'll be at the top of the scouting report for Oklahoma, because if you can slow that down, then you make Nebraska one-dimensional, and that kind of gives you the advantage, I would think.
Do you think the path to a win for Nebraska is a shootout or ball control?
I mean, I guess the answer would probably be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to be able to win another game in the 40s or 50s. You've got to give that defense rest. We talked about how kind of thin it is, so they can't turn over the ball. They can't go 3 and out, put the defense out there for long drives, and maybe 4 play, pick up one first down, then have to punt it back, and then put the defense right back out there. They're gonna have to give that defense a rest. They're gonna have to sustain drives, preferably to put points on the board. So that's kind of where the shootout. They're gonna have to score some points to win this game. But I don't necessarily know that you want to go so fast that the defense is going to be out there for however many plays they were last week. I don't think that's a recipe for success. So they're going to have to score some points, but I think you want to do it. You want to be smart about how you're attacking Oklahoma's defense, and make sure that you're not exposing your defense even more with some either early turnovers or 3 and outs, or I mean, you'll take a long touchdown if you can get it. Defense, I mean, they're going to have to go do their job too. So, but you're going to have to be smart about making sure that you don't put the defense out there for too many snaps.
All right, Jacob, let's move over to volleyball. Let's go back to a week from yesterday first, because we had you on before the Nebraska-Creighton match. I mean, you were there, that environment, and then the match we got. Man, how awesome was that? First of all, to be there, and then also just for the sport and for the state.
Yeah. Credit to Creighton for kind of bouncing back from the start and settling in there. And that was a phenomenal match. And again, credit to you. You got really, really close to nailing the attendance.
Thank you.
I at least wasn't as pessimistic as Josh got over 15,000 with my.
I challenged the audience, and they exceeded. Good job.
Yeah, I'm sure the last 1,000 tickets went.
That was all Josh.
The day of the match. So
prove it wasn't Jacob.
But yeah, that was great for volleyball in the state, just in general. I know ESPN picked up the Louisville Kentucky match last night. Nebraska's match against Kentucky, it got moved from ESPNU to ESPN2, so it's kind of moving up there, and volleyball's kind of taken center stage a little bit more here, and it deserves it. I mean, that was a phenomenal match. Credit to Creighton to lose that match and then to come back and have to play the 2 5-setters that they did over the weekend against Florida State and Omaha, and find a way to get over the hump and win those games. That's a lot of volleyball they played last week. So But yeah, Nebraska, they got it done. That was their first real test. But then they kind of stubbed their toe against Stanford on Tuesday night. So now they're looking to have to bounce back here. And man, it's been an interesting season for Nebraska so far. I think the first and third match of the season, they've used the same lineup, same rotation. Every other match, the other 6 matches, has been a different collection of players, whether it's system change, whether it's coaching decisions, whether it's injuries in matches. They've had to change up so much that they haven't really been able to settle in. And I think that bit them a little bit against the Cardinal when they just couldn't find a way to terminate, couldn't find a way to get into a good offensive flow. They were too predictable. And they were hitting in the block all the time because Stanford knew where they were going to go and couldn't find a way to get it done. So hopefully Nebraska can start to get healthy here a little bit and figure out, all right, this is how we want to play. This is who we want in these positions, and we're going to stick with it because we've seen credit to them for continuing to play at a high level for the most part. The roles change, but at a certain point, you got to be able to settle in and like, all right, this is my role. This is what I'm going to do every time out there, and be able to kind of build up some momentum, some chemistry within that rotation and everything.
Well, they schedule so difficult in the non-con, and that's by design. And they're also, like you mentioned, still trying to like figure it out, and still, you know, they're 7-1 after all that, and they have obviously, you know, tough matches still to play. Only one left in the non-con, or one left in the non-con on Sunday at Kentucky, and then you go into the Big Ten season. Like, I don't know. We talked about this a little bit last week. It's got to be a bit by design, but also, you know, the time starts ticking pretty quickly, and you start hitting Big Ten play. You do have to kind of have it figured out pretty soon.
Yeah, I think this non-conference, I think, laid out perfectly where you got the 2 kind of home tournaments the first weekend. Pepperdine ended up being a pretty good test. They cracked the top 25 after playing Nebraska. So you did get a good challenge there, but then you got some easier matches as well. You got to get the kind of feel good moments with Ole Miss and Caleb Anworth and Long Beach State and Tyler Hildebrand and Kelly Schwarzenbach. So you're able to kind of accomplish a few different things with the first 2 weeks, and then you start ramping it up. You got the first ranked opponent up in that crazy environment up in Omaha, and then now you follow that up with 2 top 15 teams in the last week of the non-conference, including your first true road game. I know Cook views the Omaha match as a road game because they had to travel and take the bus, and it's more about the routine than where they play and not being at home and all that. But that was a home match for Nebraska based on the fans.
Right.
So this time they'll be down at Kentucky. It'll be interesting to see what the attendance is. I know they just had a huge crowd for that Louisville match, at least 7th largest in their arena history. So we'll see kind of if they can replicate that, top that with Nebraska coming to town. But yeah, you close out the non-conference with a road game against the top 15 team and then head right into Big Ten play. So I think this worked out perfectly, just kind of the way that the schedule ramped up every week. But yeah, with the injuries they've had to deal with kind of the rotating, I don't think Nebraska's probably where they want to be right now, but I think he'll take a 7-1 record for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jacob Padilla of Hill Varsity. All right, Jacob, great stuff as always. Appreciate the time, and we'll chat next week.
All right, sounds good. Hopefully we'll have some positive basketball topics to talk about.
Yeah, maybe something in there. Thanks.
Bye.
There is, we'll find something. No Robert Sarver talk.
Doesn't want to talk about Chris Paul being associated with 2 racist NBA owners?
Associated?
I mean, under the employment of? Sorry, I didn't mean to imply he had anything to do with it.
That's sort of what it sounded like, Josh. Jeez.
Some of those chestnut eyes.
All right. Well,
loser.
Sam McEwen's coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll come back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show.
Who's pitching tonight?
Yu Darvish having a great year.
The Connor Happer Show.
I know about that guy.
On 1620, The Zone.
What a mess.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Experience the difference Tyson Foods Council Bluffs case-ready facility can make. They're seeking second shift general laborers starting at $19.25 per hour. They're also seeking industrial maintenance starting at $28.35 per hour with greater earning upon completion of training, as well as industrial refrigeration at $29.65 per hour, also with greater earnings upon completion of training. Now offering a $4,000 referral bonus and $1,000 hiring bonus. Apply on site every Wednesday and Thursday from 9 to noon or call 712-329-4333 for details. Tyson Foods, equal opportunity affirmative action employer, vets and disability.
Reward yourself with Kasasa Free Checking. Liberty First Credit Union invites you to open a free Kasasa checking account and earn up to 3% APY for up to $30,000. Get paid for banking. What are you waiting for? Earning a high reward rate is easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. Liberty First Credit Union offers free online banking and bill pay, free e-statements, free mobile banking, and so much more. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
I did a site visit and the space is absolutely incredible.
Este's Reiki Clinic is opening another studio across town.
But there's a lot to wrap up.
But staffing an entire office requires more than just deep breathing.
And at least 4 new practitioners.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Sharp Betting in the Morning is back on the road each home game Friday at our good friends Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village, breaking down the big games and the Husker game. Each home game Friday, $6 breakfast entrees. We are there doing the show at Exarban Village. First 20 people that come in and mention 1620 The Zone get breakfast free during the shows. Again, $6 breakfast when we are there at Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe. Plus, you can register, win tickets and prizes each home game Friday. Sharp and Betting in the Morning on the road at Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe.
When it's hot, the last thing you want is your home's AC to quit on you. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our team of comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. From simple repairs to more complex fixes, we'll get you cool and comfortable quickly. Call 402-788-1234 or visit McCarthy's1hour.com for $50 off any repair.
Always on time, or you don't pay a dime.
Terms and conditions may apply. Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The passion and excitement of high school football continues every week, and the high school football update covers it all every Saturday morning. Join veteran sportscasters Jim Kelter and Torrey Pantalian Saturday mornings 8 to 10 on 1180 The Zone.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR, but with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with auto pay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and includes 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
So all my life of very closely paying attention to tennis, there's been a guy or two guys who have just dominated the sport. Historically great. We have had Agassi and then Federer and Nadal, and that's all I've known, Josh. So a new era will have to be ushered in as these dudes get old and start retiring. Roger Federer announced that he'll play just one more tournament. He gone.
Not even a good tournament.
Yeah, garbage tournament. All right, here we go. So this is where we talk tennis and we don't know what we're talking about. How many Grand Slams has Roger Federer won?
I'm going to guess 20.
Oh my God. Great guess. It's exactly 20.
Hey, look at me. Knowing tennis.
You cheated. You knew that. You saw it.
Probably. But that's like still just third most of all time. Third most of this generation, right? Does Rafa have more?
Now you're asking questions I don't know.
Does Joker have more? 3 all-time greats in the same generation.
Right.
It's unfathomable.
Australian Open in 04, 06, 07, 10, 17, 18. French Open 09. Wimbledon 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 09, 12, 17. US Open 04, 05, 06, 07, 08. Did you know that Roger Federer played doubles? Occasionally.
I did not.
He's got some doubles earlier in his career.
Congrats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has 20. Joker has 21. Nadal has 22.
Wow.
Bringing up the rear of this generation. Congrats, Raj.
You pull up his Wikipedia page, and it's like, okay, 03, Grand Slam breakthrough at Wimbledon. 04, imposing dominance. 05, consolidating dominance. 06, best year. And then, holding off rivals, major titles. So I'm just waiting for the next young tennis star to show up.
Boy, tennis needs something, doesn't it? You lost Serena. On the men's side, Roger's walking away. Nadal is right at the end.
Well, the winner of
Joker's toxic.
The winner of the Novak Djokovic.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of the U.S. Open was 19 this year.
Okay, that's good. On the women's side, I know Coco Gauff.
There you go.
Are
we worried about the future of tennis, Josh?
I mean,
is it time to put out the alarms on tennis?
I'm sure Ravi's yelling at his radio right now. Come on, you forgot about blah, 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 blah.
Ravi's big tennis guy.
Who's cracking the mainstream as a tennis star nowadays?
Yeah, Ravi, text in or tweet in or something and give me the next tennis guy that we need to be rooting for.
I'm not,
because we need a dominant guy. Like golf needs Tiger.
Yeah,
we need a guy.
Not big on this Kyrgios.
Yeah,
although he is a Celtics fan.
There's a lot going on there.
Seems like a lot of Celtics fans, just kind of a jackass.
Is that yourself in that category?
I can't immediately disassociate myself with that. No.
Yeah, the guy who won the U.S. Open this year, Carlos Alcaraz.
Sure.
I stopped paying attention after Serena lost.
I did too.
And that was on the
I
women's
take
side.
that
So
back.
I never once paid attention to the men's U.S. Open.
I looked at the bracket after Serena lost. I said, okay, Coco's still in this thing. Coco lost. And I went, you know what? I don't care anymore.
And there's your tennis update from Connor and Josh.
Handled perfectly by us, if I do
was
say so
really
myself.
well done. We're
Yeah.
tennis experts.
Yeah.
So if you're a tennis guy and you see it on the podcast later, do not click on the tennis segment. Click on all the other segments. Those are great. Click on the other ones more so you can make up for the fact that you won't be listening to the tennis segment.
Yeah, if you skip the tennis segment on the podcast, you need to listen to one other segment twice.
That's exactly right. We expect that of you, the listeners.
Or share another segment that you did like on social media.
We will come back with Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. You know what? I bet Sam has like a really, he definitely has a tennis thought.
Sure, absolutely.
He's got a thought on everything.
That's his job.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't think it is. I think he just knows a lot about a lot of things. Sam joins. And now, look what's happening. The people are calling now to tell us. All right, we will take a couple calls just real quickly because I would like to hear what people have to say about the tennis. I'm intrigued. I'd like to learn. I know nothing about the tennis. We get Chris in Montana texted in. He said TFO made the quarterfinals. Yeah, that sounds right.
Heard that name?
All right, we got Jim on the Les Hills Harley Davidson hotline. Hi, Jim. Oh, Jim. Jim was too offended to even stay on the line for 5 seconds.
He considers the Grand Slams 4 tournaments, not just one. All these guys specialized in winning one of those Grand Slams.
Oh,
like Nadal was a
like
clay
Nadal.
guy.
Yeah. So is that what he was going to say?
Yeah.
He wants his tennis to be a little bit more well-rounded.
Yeah.
His tennis players.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. I agree with Jim. Oh, I'm Nadal. I just play on clay. I'm just the GOAT on clay. Well, guess what, Rafa? Not all the matches are on clay.
Yeah.
Some of them are on grass. Some of them are on hard court. Get more well-rounded. What? We got some comments?
Greg tweet said, notice the tennis fans are calling, not texting, tweeting, or participating in the YouTube chat.
All right, now we got to take a break. Sam McEwen's up next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
You want to talk about an opportunity to stiff arm some of these thoughts, stiff arm some of these opinions, and at least make things last a little longer. A win over Oklahoma would do that. A close loss wouldn't really mean a whole lot to me. In my opinion, it wouldn't change a lot. The Doomsday is a blowout loss because, that's what a lot of people have hung their hat on over the last 13 months now. All these losses by a score, except for the Ohio State game, and that was only 9 points.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Another warm and breezy day ahead Thursday with partly to mostly cloudy skies. South wind will gust 20 to 30 miles per hour. We'll be dry in the metro heading into the evening with a chance for a few showers and storms out to the west. Highs in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Steve Sipple breaks down the Georgia Southern game, new coaching developments, and previews the Oklahoma game. Tonight at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5, program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults and $5 for children. Sponsored by Parking Area Maintenance, Inc. and Husker Hounds.
Can't wait for Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard's September 23rd fall opening? Well then, come to the Cider and Sunflower Festival, September 16th, 17th, and 18th. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is open 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday, with fireworks on Friday and Sundays till 9 p.m. Season passes will be accepted during this festival weekend, and you can purchase individual tickets online and at the gate. So come on out at Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors.
You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Here's an opportunity for business-to-business salespeople. NRG Media is looking for someone who gets excited about helping local businesses grow. Are you an idea person who can create and execute a plan? We should talk. At NRG Media, we create local marketing campaigns designed to meet a key challenge. On air, online, on-site, audio, video. It's all part of what you could do. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Business-to-business salespeople? Apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR, but with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with auto pay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and included 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
All right, live now on Twitter, we have a very memeable picture of Josh Hodson mid taking a phone call about people calling in about tennis and how wrong we are.
I made it, Mom. I'm a meme.
So go ahead and do with that what you will. Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald joins us now on the Lust Hills Harley Davidson hotline. Hi, Sam.
Hi. What were you guys wrong about?
Well, I don't know. I just made it very clear that I don't really know anything about tennis. It didn't take very long for me to expose myself.
Okay. Well, what were you wrong about?
I don't know. Were we wrong about anything actually, or did we just basically show how big of idiots we are?
I think our Roger Federer analysis boiled down to he won a lot of majors. So did some other guys in his generation.
Yeah, I think we covered it well, Sam.
I'm gonna piss off some of your listeners by saying Roger Federer is the greatest tennis player of all time.
Whoa! See, we knew you'd be good for a tennis take.
So here's the difference. There's the word greatest and there's the word best. I would argue that in 5 years' time, we will say Novak Djokovic was the best. Federer was the greatest. And I think the reason it was is because, he's the one that sort of restarted tennis and made it what it was. And Nadal and Djokovic came along and obviously became his rivals, but there's never really been, in my opinion, a player who played quite the way Federer did. And what he represented, I would describe him as the greatest. Maybe not the best. I think Djokovic is better, but the greatest tennis player of all time. The one that when you go, 20 years from now, they're like, I grew up watching Roger Federer. That'll be the one, I think. And then Nadal is maybe the toughest, and I think Djokovic is probably the best for that. Like, I think he's the one that could still win a Grand Slam and would be the one who did. But, Federer is the one that – I love tennis. My wife and I both love it. So that's the player that I think both of us would say gave us the most joy watching tennis.
See, we knew you'd be good for a tennis take. I thought you were a tennis guy too, so that adds to it.
Right.
All right, Sam. Before we look forward, let's look back. I think that's what a lot of this week has sort of been about. Trev was quick to sort of push it toward the future, as he, as anybody would in the press conference on Sunday. As you've sort of, we've been sort of writing this book as we've gone along over the last 4 years, but as you sort of had the chance to look at it now that it's sort of over, what are some thoughts that you have on why it ended up where it did and what ultimately was the downfall for Scott Frost?
Well, there's 3 or 4 things, I suppose. I think you can't ever just not talk about recruiting. I think the recruiting model initially probably wasn't what it needed to be. They didn't hit on enough players early in their tenure. In the 2018 and 2019 classes, those are his first 2. A lot of those guys left. And, if you don't have a foundation there, I think it can hurt you. A lot of them left on offense. Don't feel like I admire the decision to bring all of your staff members from UCF. Don't think that worked out. I just don't think that was the right call. This will sound kind of odd, but until they were fired, I don't know that any of these other coaches were going to go anywhere else that was as good as Nebraska. And maybe this sounds odd, but Nebraska didn't win very many games during Scott Frost's tenure, and his coaches, until they were fired, also didn't go anywhere else. And I think that's notable. If you look at the schools that the fired coaches went to afterward, I think that said something about, the kind of coaches they were. And so, I think the staff could have been better. I think they didn't get any breaks. And I think Frost is a very intuitive head coach. He kind of coaches by feel and momentum, and they didn't really get any momentum. And sometimes you need a little luck.
Yeah.
They didn't get him. They just didn't get much. So I think that's part of it. And then at the end of the day, I don't think it was a great fit. I think Frost wasn't a great fit for the Big Ten. I think the job at Nebraska is a lot. I think you've got 100 people trying to pitch you something, trying to be helpful, trying to give their opinion, and I think that's overwhelming. I think Frost had an inner circle, and the inner circle didn't, sometimes drew a line in the sand, and it just didn't work. And maybe at a different moment in his life, let's say he was at UCF for 8 years, maybe it's different. Maybe it's a different story. He'd had a little bit more time to figure out, the kind of head coach he wanted to be, and gone through a few more things other than just total success.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he would have been a different head coach. You never really know, but the reality is it just didn't work. And I don't think there's a lot of animus about it. There might be for some people, but Nebraska moves on. I don't think they're that worse for wear. I do think they're back to where they were in 2017, but I don't think the program is where it was when Bo left it. And Bo left a more talented program than Frost leaves, but he left a program that was actively angry at its own administration. I don't think that's the story here. So Scott Frost didn't torch it on the way out, and I think you have to respect Scott for that. You wish him well, and I hope he's able to find a job that suits him.
I asked this question of somebody else, Mitch, yesterday. How do you think this turns out if Trevor Alberts arrives sooner?
I think Frost may have been let go soon. Let's see how I think it turns. I think he would have had to have been there at the beginning. because I think the season that was sort of the moment of truth was 2019.
Absolutely.
When I do think they had a good enough team to win 8 or 9 games that year. I think we all felt that way. And they lost to Colorado, which wasn't a very good team. They lost to Indiana, which was okay, but not great. And they lost to Purdue, and you win all those 3 games and you're 8-4, and then you're going into that Iowa game with a chance to win the Big Ten and the Big Ten West, and they obviously didn't do that. So I think that's probably where I trained my eye is that season, and there were so many mistakes made that season, from Maurice Washington to other things, managing quarterbacks. It was such a microcosm of the era, and then of course so many guys transferred after that season, and then they fired Walters and they brought in, and that was a mess. If you remember, that was a total mess. The way that Troy Walters was fired and then Lubick was hired within hours.
Mm-hmm.
It was just mismanaged. And so if Trev wouldn't have been there for that year, I think it would have been hard to recover. I just don't know that a lot would have changed there. I don't know that Trev would have made that hire, to be honest with you, because I think there's just certain things that Trev really looks for, and I think he would have been able to suss out that Scott wasn't quite maybe ready for that job. And you know what? There's a reason why Trev Alberts didn't take the athletic director job in 2017.
Yeah.
The apparatus at the university at the time was, I don't think, to his liking. And I don't think he wanted to become an athletic director whose job it was to execute a vision that wasn't his own, but rather the vision of people who weren't even in the athletic department. Yeah. And so, Trev could have been that guy, I think. I don't really think you had to bring in Bill Moose, specifically Bill. But the reality is that Trev Alberts is a completely different person than Bill Moose, and would not have been, I don't think, comfortable taking an AD job with the knowledge that your job is to be, like a jovial sort of salesman to convince Scott Frost to come back here. And once he gets here, he'll just take care of everything. And that wasn't true. Scott Frost didn't take care of everything. He didn't know everything. And I don't think he always was curious enough to learn until it was too late.
One of the things that has come out of this and this week and people talk, going through the last 4 years or whatever, they sort of throw a huge net over it by saying, well, they weren't able to develop. They weren't able to develop. And I don't disagree with the idea that they weren't able to develop. I just think, Sam, and this is what I'll ask you about, but I just think there's so many things that go into that. I think you have to have a really, really clear vision and sort of understanding of what you're going to be and what you need to be in order to win in the Big Ten. And it just felt like, you maybe had that at the start and then realized, we need to be a little bit different because this is the conference that we're in. And then they were never able to find that middle ground and what they wanted to be for a variety of different reasons. And that's a big part of it. I think that's one of the things. I guess I don't even know what the question is, but development, and like when people say that, I sort of cringe because I just think you can't pin it all on that, and because it includes so many things.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's absolutely a lot of there's things you can comb through here, and like the issue with identity, offensive identity, knowing what you wanted to be, knowing how you wanted to run a program. A lot of different things. I think the way, and we'll write more about this as we go on, the way that I want to frame the story of not just Scott Frost, but quite honestly, Mike Riley, and to some degree, Bo Pelini, is that this job, and Bo spoke to it most eloquently, actually, negatively, critically, but he spoke to it. This job has some challenges, some unique challenges, and maybe you don't know what they are until you get in the job. But I can tell you that some of the things that I think threw Frost off are the same things that threw off Riley. Mike Riley came from Oregon State, where it was a mom and pop cafe, and he kind of did everything. I think he slightly resented having to do everything, but yet he became really good at doing everything. And when he came to Nebraska, there was 100 people saying, I can do this, 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 I can help you with this, I can help you with this. And I just don't think he ever felt like he was just overwhelmed. And I think Scott had the same kinds of people. I think what Scott did, Mike kind of said yes to too many people. I think Scott kind of retreated into, I've got my inner circle and we're going to handle everything and we're going to kind of shut people out. And, the second floor, is ours and we'll take care of things and we'll handle it. We'll see the Big Ten and we'll go out and secure our own, testing kits. Remember that?
Yep.
We're like, we're going to go out and get our own antigen test. There was just a kind of, not rebellious mindset, but almost like we're Big Red football and we're separate from a lot of other things and we're going to do things the way we want to do them. And, you can go to this place if you don't like it. And that didn't work either. So the job requires being able to manage all of those levers within the athletic department, but you also need to know when to say no. And Mike didn't know when to say no, and Scott Frost too often tried to, just have his sort of inner empire, and it just didn't work. I think at the end of the day, he didn't know. I don't think Scott knew his team as well as he should have, especially those first 2 years. I think by the end he did, but initially he did not, and he was just, I don't know what you want to call it, but things would fall apart in key moments, and that manifested itself in special teams.
Yep.
The guy didn't know who his specialists were, and let's not kid. Let's not kid. Like, he did not know he didn't know that the guy, he didn't know that one of his punters didn't really know how to punt. Like, if he knew it, then he never should have put the guy out there. Like, there was just not enough attention to detail to the specialist. And that happened a lot. When your specialist can't execute an onside kick, maybe you don't try a squib the next week. There's lots of things there. The field goal kicker has missed, 2 out of 3. The punter's been pretty good, but, so all those things. Like, he was never completely in tune with that phase of the game, and that usually means you don't know your team.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald is with us. Going for, as we embark on this, what will be a lengthy coaching search here. Is this Nebraska's first time where it feels like, to me, it's maybe their first time in the Big Ten where they are going to maybe specifically target a coach with the idea of, you need to do something that works in this league, not necessarily an offense, but understanding and sort of respecting the opponents around you in the Big Ten. Nebraska's had 2 cracks at it since being in the conference. How does that sort of inform the search, and how important is that, do you think, to Trev?
I think it's important. Ultimately you have to figure out how to win among your peers. And I do think it matters. Yeah. Like, I think it can't be everything. I think you have to have an internal process that is based on what you think is best for you, regardless of what your neighbors are doing. But I think you have to take into account what you're doing. I mean, just imagine a neighborhood. You live in a specific kind of neighborhood. You kind of see what your neighbors are doing, and okay, maybe you can do it a different way, not mow your lawn or whatever, but that'll just feel odd. So I think it matters, but I think you also have to have your internal process. That's also important. So yeah, that'd be the way I would put it.
Yeah, I guess what Trev laid it out a little bit on Sunday. What are some of the key things that you feel like he's looking for with knowing him, and also, what he said as they sort of started this thing on Sunday?
Probably not super young, but it could be. Polished, doesn't get too high or too low, doesn't get too emotional, doesn't operate off the cuff, has a process and sticks to it. Thinks long term over short term.
Yeah.
Builds a program, develops players, believes in developing players, believes in creating a program that is not built on, if we get this person, then we'll be good. Like you have to recruit well, but you don't recruit in a way where, like, if you miss out on one guy, it falls apart. So I think those are the qualities. And obviously he said a grinder, right? He wants somebody who's going to burn the midnight oil and work really, really hard to make the extra phone calls and do the extra schemes. And, I don't really know what to say other than last week when I watched Nebraska's defense, the defense didn't look like it had enough tools in the toolbox.
No.
And Frost was aware enough to admit it after the game. Like, he's like, we didn't have enough, we got out schemed. And he didn't have enough tools in the toolbox. So, figuring that out, trying to do those things, working hard. I appreciate the fact that Mickey Joseph did a 15-minute presser, but he hasn't spent all week long, doing interviews. I think he's trying to win a job, and to win a job, you got to work really hard.
When you start to think about the game on on Saturday, how do you even start? Because I think there might be some maybe emotional boost, although the emotions are sort of complicated. But you still come back to the fact that what you just said about the defense, it's just really thin, and it's a tough look right now. How do you start to handicap Oklahoma against Nebraska, and where do you sort of go first?
I think Henrich will be back. I think that helps. I don't know that for sure, but I think Henrich returning will help them. In part because I think Henrich calming players down is helpful. Like, he's able to align the defense out there. They got to play with an edge. And by that, I don't mean an emotional edge. They have to play with violence. They have to play that way. They have to play
Gotta be
aggressively.
Yep.
And they have to play with violence. And I think they did that in the early part of the Frost era. They were very aggressive on defense. It kind of burned them. Then they went to this sort of bend don't break model, and they had some good players who could make plays in space. Those guys aren't there anymore. I think you have to go back to being violent. You have to take chances, and if you get burned, you get burned. But you're not going. You got to get guys behind the line of scrimmage. What I would say is that they can't just let a team throw 6-yard passes all the way down the field.
Nope.
Very demoralizing. Big plays are this will take about a minute, but one of the biggest fallacies about football analytics is this notion that, like, explosive plays are a primary determinant of who wins and who loses. It's accurate, but what's really emotionally rattling to a team or a defense, and this is true in basketball too, if you hit 7 of 10 3-pointers in a game, you score 21 points. If you give up 6 dunks in a row, you only scored 12, but you've demoralized the other team. You've demoralized them. It makes it a hell of a lot easier to hit all those 3-pointers once you've dunked on them 6 times. In college football, if you get 5 or 6 yards every single play, and you just do that over and over, it's demoralizing to a defense. It's like getting layups and dunks. And Nebraska's defense did not have an answer for that. I think they thought, what we're going to do is we're going to give all those up, and then when we get inside the 20, we're going to bow up and give up some field goals. And we may not play very well, but we'll win because our offense will score. And it was a very passive strategy.
Yep.
And you can't. I think you have to play with violence. I think you have to play. You got to blitz. You got to be aggressive. You have to take chances.
I thought they'd do that all along this year, Sam, with what they have on defense. I thought that was the obvious choice.
Well, you tend to do that when you feel real good about your corners, and they don't feel great about their corners quite yet. And beyond that, you're asking a lot of your safeties in your corners, and one of the safeties and one of the corners has started the first 3 games of their careers. They're both true sophomores. They're like 19, 20 years old. And then Miles Farmer and Quentin Newsom, I think Newsom's a pretty good player. I don't think Farmer's great, and I think he knows it. I think they're working on it. So, they don't have Deontay Williams back there. So, it's not a Markel Dispute, a 6-year senior. So I think it was challenging in that way. And so you get worried about the deep pass, which is understandable. But I think they kind of got into the same situation that, that Bo got in late in his tenure at Nebraska, where it's like, we're going to keep both of our safeties 12 yards off the ball.
I'm trying to protect people.
And we're going to do the mousetrap run defense, and we're going to give up 408 yards to Melvin Gordon because we're not playing with violence. We're not taking any chances. And there does come a point with a defense where it's like, I don't give a bleep. You just have to start playing with a leading edge. And if you get burned, you get burned. But you can't just sit there and give up, 6-yard layups over and over. And that's what Nebraska's defense was doing last week. It was just layups and dunks. And the idea of they're only layups and dunks and they're not shooting threes, so we're good. And it's just the moral hit that you get from being dunked on 6 times is much greater than somebody getting 7 threes, regardless of the point production. And that's where I think Nebraska is so attuned to analytics, Connor, that I think sometimes they get a little bit too far into it. And I think Frost was the same way. I think Frost's idea was, we'll win games 49-35, and because we'll go fast and we'll score more points, and we'll play it by the analytics book. And then the Big Ten teams are like, we're just not going to give you the ball. We're going to put people away. And your defense isn't going to try to stop us. Isn't going to try to get us off the field. They're going to sit in this shell and, tackle and roll up. And we're going to kick a field goal. We're going to score a touchdown. And we're going to beat you 24-21 because we held the ball for 37 minutes. And you guys had it for 23. But we win the game.
I'll never forget that 18 Iowa game, Sam, when I think they had 4 possessions in the first half. And, they said afterwards, we got to get bigger and do all these things. Like, I think that was a huge jolt for them of like, that you can't actually do this the way you want to against good teams.
That's right. Like that was the problem. And the defense was aggressive initially in those first couple of years, and they got burned. And so I think they backed off, and they're like, we're going to be a little bit more of a Big Ten defense, bend but don't break. And it worked until this year, and then they don't have the players. The players aren't good enough. And they got caught up a little short, especially on the defensive line. I put it in my column earlier this week. If I'm not mistaken, there are three effectively walk-on starting. One of them was put on scholarship when he got here in the fall, but they joined the team as walk-on. And then, so there's 3 of those. And then there's 3, there's Tommy Hill, Marquise Buford, Ernest Hausman, just starting his first couple of games. And there might be one more that have just basically just had their first 3 starts. And, how in the heck are you going to win on defense with that kind of defense? Like, it's just not going to happen unless you're aggressive. You can't just sit back in a shell and let those guys, we'll play defense. Come on. That's ridiculous. Yep. You have to do something different, and I think they will this week. So there you go.
All right, Sam. Appreciate the time as always, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
That is Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. Real good stuff there. I hope they do. We've been calling for that all year. Got to get more aggressive somehow. It's a choice, right? But you gotta. Sometimes that means leaving some guys out to dry. It's gonna hurt them, but you can't protect everyone always.
Sink or swim.
All right, we'll come back. Let's do a quick segment, and then we'll have the odd news coming up as well. Josh's top 5. We're gonna spin the wheel. We're gonna talk to Bruntz. We got a lot of stuff still to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. This week's Zone deal is for Vala's Pumpkin Patch. Vala's, as always, has something for everyone, like the pumpkin eating dragon. That sounds like it's for me because it's just weird enough where I'm all the way in on that. Test your balance and skills with the Barnyard Challenge course. 2 new attractions this year. Stefan's Country Drive, where kids get to drive antique cars, and Jan's Carousel. Among the more than 50 other attractions and fun for the whole family out at Vallis. So Friday, 9 a.m., 1620thezone.com. 2 passes for just $39. It's an $80 value. That's half off. 9 a.m., 1620thezone.com on Friday.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. I imagine there are a lot of people out there with really bad roofs waiting for the magic moment. When's the magic moment?
Depends on what type of roof you have. It depends on how old your roof is. I have a customer right now talking about waiting for that hailstorm. Now it's leaking. There's a time where you can't wait for that hailstorm forever.
When it comes time to replace your roof, your gutters, and siding, there's only one call to make. The rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Experience the difference Tyson Foods Council Bluffs case-ready facility can make. They're seeking second shift general laborers starting at $19.25 per hour. They're also seeking industrial maintenance starting at $28.35 per hour with greater earning upon completion of training, as well as industrial refrigeration at $29.65 per hour, also with greater earnings upon completion of training. Now offering a $4,000 referral bonus and $1,000 hiring bonus. Apply on site every Wednesday and Thursday from 9 to noon or call 712-329-4333 for details. Tyson Foods, equal opportunity affirmative action employer, vets and disability.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
You can join us every week for the Sharp and Betting podcast. It's Sharp and Betting. We got a podcast driven by our good friends at Woodhouse Auto Family.
Yeah, the cool thing about it is we'll get more in depth on a lot of your favorite topics, have a guest or two, and just might drop some nuggets of information that you've never heard before.
Wherever you get your podcasts, just look for Sharp and Betting. We got a podcast driven by Woodhouse Auto Family each Friday. You can find it on the Sharp and Betting show page on 1620thezone.com. At Sharp and Betting, we got a podcast.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's time for the gates to open. And pure evil to be released.
Scary Acres is back. Omaha's ultimate haunted attractions. The Master's Castle, House on the Hill, The Haunted Woods. Scary Acres open this Friday, 172nd and Giles. Sponsored in part by Stereo West, Raising Cane's, and Hy-Vee.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
All right, welcome back for the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone. 1620thezone.com. One text. We're going to take a call. Hold on. Text line. OMG, still bashing Frost? LOL, leave him alone and look forward to the betterment of the team. Or does that matter? Also, FYI, Trev was not considered or offered the job when Moose was. So how could he turn it down?
Why didn't you report that the second you knew it, Texter?
Oh, interesting. That's information I would have loved to have. All right. To the phones, Les Hills Harley Davidson hotline. We have Random Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hey, has Trev has he made amends with the UNO wrestling guys? And there are a lot of them around.
Yeah.
Wait, did something happen between Trev Alberts and the wrestling team?
But I mean, have they kind of made up? Has he made gestures to kind of make things a little better?
That I don't know. I don't know how he could. I don't know how responsive they would be to that. I think that still sits, pretty fresh even all these years later.
Yeah, because they've been pretty quiet.
For sure.
Haven't they? Because, Trev gets a lot of love. And, hey, he was one of my all-time favorite players. And I'm hoping I like what he's been saying. But did it strike you that Mickey Joseph in front of the press was probably better than any coach we've had in a while?
Yeah, I mean, people were sort of blown away by that. I appreciate Mickey because he is direct, and I think that is sort of refreshing from what we've experienced recently. But it's hard to not win that first press conference, I guess. Know, even though Trev says we're not going to win the press conference, people are going to be pretty receptive to what the new guy is saying, no matter what. I wasn't completely and totally blown away, though. I mean, but that's not to say I didn't like what he had to say, but it wasn't like exceptional. I love.
I was
Mickey
impressed.
Joseph.
I was impressed with what he said about the changes on defense that he's ordered already.
For sure. Yeah, they're going to play faster. What does that mean? We'll see.
And the reassignments.
And the reassignments of what with the coaches. Yeah.
And with a very important coach.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what happens in the bye week as well. Maybe there's some more there.
A year ago, around this time, if Frost was fired, and you asked, well, who would we want to be the interim coach? Wouldn't almost all of us have said Shenanigans?
Yeah, you're talking about prior to Mickey coming in.
Yeah, or whatever. But even going into this year, I know you were pretty public, and Damon has been. And I certainly agree that Chenander, we just thought a lot of him. We really respect him.
Oh, yeah. The guys respond a certain way to him. I think that's a big part of being a head coach. Yeah, he's still, he's probably the most liked guy on the staff. I don't know that for
this
sure.
Year, probably the most respected.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody would have dreamed. And we knew we were losing experienced, really good players. And look at Stilly he made the practice squad, right?
Yeah, on the Dolphins, yeah.
Isn't that's a huge accomplishment, I believe.
For sure, yeah, and it's a testament to a lot of different things that they did over his career.
Exactly, and the development and the kind of guy and JoJo,
they were able to develop on the defensive
players, and we all thought that would happen again, and basically the defense cost Frost the job. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but it's also disorganization in general. Frost, it probably cost him the job in the moment, but this year I think would have probably turned out not so well anyway. I think the end result would have been the same.
Well, wait a second. The last few games, the combination of Frost and Whipple looks like it's really paying off with the talent we got. That this offense, if the line gets better,
we'll see.
It seems to get a little better. But the point is, it's the upside in the special teams. Obviously, we hope it's going to keep getting better with the coach. I don't think any of us dreamed that the defense would put him in that situation. And Barrett Ruud, I'm a Barrett Ruud guy, but where's the depth there?
Yep, thin everywhere on defense.
Do you think Mickey was affected by his brother or his family giving him what they've seen about the defense and changes that have to be made. I think that was probably a major input.
He said they talk every day, so I'd imagine so.
So what chance do you give Mickey? Because I'm really intrigued by this, that it just might work.
What chance do I give Mickey? Like a percentage or?
Yeah, just that, hey, we do really well with him, and that puts him, and even Trev said it. For what it's worth, that would really put him right in the search.
I do not think that Mickey Joseph's going to be the next head coach. I do think they'll want to keep him on the staff, whoever comes in, but I don't think the odds are that good.
And here's the thing: I think if he's done, let's say he did a fantastic job with the receivers so far, I don't think they dropped as many passes and were undefeated. I mean, that's my own opinion.
Maybe, yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Take care.
We're bouncing a lot there. Yeah, I don't know. And we got some tweets. We always get a couple of tweets on Mike's phone calls. A response to, where is it now? From Kent. Response to, has Trev made up with the wrestling guys? No, hell no. They have not made up.
A lot of people calling in with that.
Like I said, from my experience in hearing those people and about that sort of relationship and all that stuff over the last, decade now, it does not seem like, even if there was an extension of the olive branch in some way, shape, or form, it does not seem like there is much receptiveness to it. But I don't know that there's the olive branch in the first place. So I think when you add that all together, Josh, your answer is, in fact, no.
That's a shame.
It is, but I don't know, not to be too cold-blooded, but it's over. It's been a while now. There's obviously still feelings there. But Trev's in a different place, and I guess you try to move on as much as you can. Okay, we got a couple more tweets. Amazing Daniel tweets in. He says, I thought when they made Mickey associate head coach, we all assumed that he'd be the interim if Frost got fired. Correct. I just wasn't clear if Mike was asking about before Mickey was hired or after Mickey was hired. Because once Mickey became the associate head coach, you're like, oh yeah, that will be the interim coach. As far as his chances, I don't know. We'll find out when we spin the wheel. If it lands on him, I suppose. Wouldn't that be funny if it landed on Mickey Joseph day one?
Be fitting.
He's on the wheel, by the way. That will happen in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll talk to Bruntz at the bottom of the hour about the upcoming game that Nebraska has in front of him. But coming up next, the odd news on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a fabulous driver.
The Connor Happer Show
I'm one of the best friends you could ever have in your life.
on 1620 The Zone.
I hate you.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Email Sharpen Betting on the Equitable Bank inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can get me at Gary at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is and has always been locally owned and operated. Now, with 160 employee owners, chances are one of us lives in your neighborhood. We take pride in taking care of you, our customers, and keeping you comfortable all year round. And as always, our technicians don't have sales quotas. When other companies send salespeople, Standard sends qualified technicians. It's just part of
Carrier, turn to the experts.
Husker football season is underway, and my friends at Tickets for Less are here for all your Husker ticketing needs, home and away. You want to secure tickets for the next game, or you need to sell your seats for a future game, Tickets for Less can help. Shop the best selection of Husker tickets now at ticketsforless.com, or you can call and order over the phone at 402-398-1999. If you love your Huskers and saving money, ticketsforless.com should be your go-to spot. With no per-ticket fees, you can always save big over the competition. Shop today at ticketsforless.com.
With gas prices surging to over $4 a gallon, high wage costs, and an annual inflation rate of 9%, now more than ever, it's critical for small businesses to save on health insurance. Hi, I'm Mark Schlange, owner of Marketplace Nebraska, and I can help. Stop wasting money on health insurance. I recently helped a small business save over $60,000 in premiums. If you own a small business and are struggling with inflation, let's talk to save money. Visit marketplacenebraska.com. That's marketplacenebraska.com.
Can't wait for Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard's September 23rd fall opening? Well then, come to the Cider and Sunflower Festival, September 16th, 17th, and 18th. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is open 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday, with fireworks on Friday, and Sundays till 9 p.m. Season passes will be accepted during this festival weekend, and you can purchase individual tickets online and at the gate. So come on out at Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska.
Teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
Yeah, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, anything, you need to tell an adult, someone you know and trust. That can be hard, but speaking up about a problem is what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with auto pay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and includes 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, it's time for the odd news. We'll do this quickly before we get to Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7. But Josh, you are the purveyor of the odd news. I have a suggestion that you could either take or leave.
Okay.
It is, I've read the tweet and now skimmed the story, but the tweet says this with a link to an article. A few months ago, I flew out to Las Vegas to report a story about the boom of rich guys who secretly got leg lengthening surgery during COVID. Now they're re-entering the world 3 to 6 inches taller and mostly not telling anyone. Would you click?
I would click. Sorry, man with the largest collection of Chiefs memorabilia in the world. You're out.
So this is weird.
Would you say it's odd?
I would say that it's odd.
Okay.
It belongs here, I think.
Okay.
We'll read the first couple paragraphs. I'll try and get through this pretty quickly, but so you get the idea, though. From GQ. John Lovedale is feeling pretty good, despite the fact that he should not be walking right now. It's a little after 9 a.m. on a hot Sunday morning in Las Vegas, and he's ambling through the Aria Resort and Casino with a pronounced limp, wincing as he throws his hips into wide semicircles and dragging his feet exactly where they need to be. The effect is like a Grand Theft Auto extra who's been sniped in the butt. John is in his mid-40s and stands 5 feet 11 and a half. Big-hearted laugh. Built like a saguaro cactus. What?
That's not a reference that enough people know, but go on.
It's in the Southwest. If you squint, he kind of resembles a brolic Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's in town to see his orthopedic surgeon, having arrived last night from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where he works as a network engineer for the government. He almost missed his flight, was in such a rush he forgot to bring the crutches he's supposed to be using. But again, he's feeling pretty good. John is on his feet. That John is on his feet at all is impressive and probably foolish, considering that only 8 months prior he was 5 feet 8.5. Back in September, he paid $75,000 for the agonizing privilege of having his legs surgically lengthened. That entailed having both of his femurs broken and adjustable metal nails inserted down their centers. Each nail is made of titanium, which is both flexible and sturdy like bone, and about the size of a piccolo. Once again, another reference to something that the nails were extended 1 millimeter every day for about 90 days via a magnetic remote control. Once the broken bones heal, ta-da, a newer, taller John. And then we get to learn a little bit more about the procedure. There's some pictures involved here. And I gotta say, this is ridiculous.
I knew it was going to be a horrifically painful surgery, and then you described it, and it exceeded my high expectations.
It goes into how, so yeah, everybody wants to be taller, especially us short kings. I'd love to be taller. But also, you look weird when you're built like you're 5'8", and then you're actually, a couple months later, you're 5'11". There are body proportions here.
Mm-hmm.
Curious to see how this works out for John a couple of years down the line.
Everyone's gonna know.
I don't know. Maybe he'll just get all new friends. He'll have tall friends now.
Sorry, guys. I found a new group of friends. Tall people.
Let me just read you the end here. There are some minor annoyances worth noting. Should you suddenly find yourself a taller person. John has to get the height on his driver's license changed, for example. His knees graze the seat in front of him when he flies coach. And his own kids all clown on him. They even gave him a nickname, Inspector Gadget. Now other people are starting to take notice something different about him. Recently, he ran into his cousin, a friend, and their dates at dinner. It had been 6 months since he'd seen them. His excuse was that he'd broken his hip. They went back to the friend's apartment. John found himself in the kitchen alone with his friend, who's about 6 feet tall. He leaned into me, says John. He says, "Look, man, I've known you for 3 years. Never have you been able to look me in the eye. What's up?" John looked him up and down and started laughing. Quote, "To this day, I still haven't told him," John says mischievously. "I've just been like, man, you've gotten shorter." End of story.
I mean, you can just put lifts in your shoes. You don't have to do this.
Next on the odd news.
It's our daily update from across the pond. More weird things that the British are not doing to be respectful of the Queen. A national supermarket chain has turned the beeps off of the checkout machines.
Because it's too loud, because we're mourning?
We're mourning. This is supposed to be respectful. I can't have that machine beeping all damn day.
My God. Well, that's good. If there's one positive thing that comes out of this, we don't have to do the damn beep every time. Or is the beep good? It makes you feel like you're accomplishing something.
Well, the only thing that the beep is good for is I know that the person has scanned it properly. When I am doing the self-checkout, I don't need the beep. I know whether it worked or not. And sure, I trust the other person to know if they're doing their job right.
There is a sense, though, of like finality or accomplishment. Like I have, it's beeped. I have done it, and now I can put this thing in the bag before it yells at me. Please place item in the bagging area. God, that thing is stupid.
I know how this works. Okay.
What if I don't want a bag?
Yeah.
Ever thought about that?
Just put it near the bags.
Stupid.
I mean, that's pretty much the whole story there.
That's fine.
Yeah. And finally, the finalists for the Toy Hall of Fame have been revealed.
Oh,
one of my favorite stories each and every year.
Yeah, one of the first things we did on this show is I think we had our inductees, right?
Yes. Voting opened yesterday on which toys should go into the National Toy Hall of Fame. The class of 2022 finalists are, you tell me if these are Hall of Fame toys or not.
All right, just yes or no. Boom, quick, off the cuff.
Bingo.
Yes.
Breyer horses.
No.
Catan.
Yes.
Light Bright.
Yes.
Nerf.
Yes.
Masters of the Universe.
Don't know what that is.
He-Man.
Yes.
Pinata.
Yes.
The card game Phase 10.
No.
Pound Puppies.
No.
Racco.
Yes.
Spirograph.
No.
The Top.
Yes. All right, I've ruled.
You have ruled. Christopher Bench, the VP for collections at the
I love
Strong
Racco.
Museum.
Have you ever played Racco?
I don't think I have.
Racco's definitely on the shelf.
Okay. These 12 toys span the history of play. The Top is as old as civilization itself, and bingo has been played in some form for hundreds of years. The public is invited to vote online through the 21st. The 3 toys that receive the most public votes will make up a single player's choice ballot. That ballot will be counted alongside those turned in by a national selection committee.
Yeah, you got to go bingo. You got to go the Top.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other significant one in there?
I'm going to go Nerf or Light Bright.
Nerf, Light Bright. They both belong.
Yeah. The winners, the inductees, they will be announced on November 10th. Last year's honorees were American Girl Dolls.
That's right.
Risk and Sand.
Sand? Yeah. Like the thing?
The thing, yes. the box that we all played in as children.
That's so stupid.
The National Toy Hall of Fame opened in 1998.
Congratulations, Sand!
77 toys have been inducted, from paper airplanes, bubbles, and sidewalk chalk to the even more ubiquitous stick and cardboard box.
I would like to take this time to honor Stick. What a toy.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Thank you. You may go home now. That's the odd news.
Thank you.
We will come back with Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7 next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
I wanted to do an extra flush at the beginning, but I was midstream. Oh no! And as I raised my hand up, I realized, hey, I've got to keep the shirts from, and the tail of one of my shirts got a little moist.
Oh no, that's not good.
So just word to the wise: make sure you keep your shirt up.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Another warm and breezy day ahead Thursday with partly to mostly cloudy skies. South wind will gust 20 to 30 miles per hour. We'll be dry in the metro heading into the evening with a chance for a few showers and storms out to the west. Highs in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
More with Connor and Josh after this.
We're going to have an extensive professional relationship, my man.
On 1620 The Zone.
The Zone Hotline is powered by Luss Hills Harley-Davidson, your home in the hills.
There are actually 2 kinds of cigars. The first is the one you smoke with beloved family and friends. The second, the one you enjoy with friends you've just met. And you'll find both at Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge. At Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, there's a well-stocked humidor with some of the best bands from around the world, and a bar with your favorite cocktails and other drinkables. So what do you say? Which cigar will you be enjoying tonight? Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's.
42 Degrees is hiring salespeople. You can earn as much as $30 per hour. That's right, $30 per hour or more with paid vacations, medical and dental insurance, 401k, and generous employee discounts. Are you looking for a career with a locally owned company offering opportunities for advancement, great benefits, and great pay? Then stop by any 42 Degree location and inquire about this opportunity. Or go online to 42degrees.com/careers and apply. 42 Degrees. By your mom's 42 house. Degrees is an equal opportunity employer.
Woodhouse Ford is your certified Ford dealer, serving drivers throughout Nebraska for 47 years. Our commitment to our customers continues well beyond the date of purchase. You will leave our lot feeling comfortable and confident in your new vehicle. Customers have been relying on Woodhouse Ford since 1975 for high-quality vehicles, knowledgeable staff, and exceptional service. Experience the Woodhouse Ford difference and shop at one of our 3 locations in-store or online at woodhouseford.com.
A new season is underway for Creighton men's and women's soccer and women's volleyball, which means we need you in the stands. Don't miss any of the action this season as your Creighton Blue Jays compete for a Big East title. Affordable tickets for the whole family start as low as $7. Get your tickets online at gocreighton.com/tickets and cheer on the Blue Jays all season long. That's gocreighton.com/tickets.
Hurry into the energy savings event at Lowe's. Save energy and save money on select major appliances, including Whirlpool energy efficient appliances. You can also save with a smart thermostat. Right now, select Google Nest Learning thermostats are $60 off. Plus, find other great energy saving items throughout the store and check your eligibility for rebates in your area to save even more. Don't miss the energy savings event at Lowe's. Selection varies by location. Exclusions apply. Visit Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 9/28.
Dell Technologies' semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The passion and excitement of high school football continues every week, and the high school football update covers it all every Saturday morning. Join veteran sportscasters Jim Kelter and Torrey Pantalian Saturday mornings 8 to 10 on 1180 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right, welcome back, and we welcome in Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
How's it going?
Not bad. What's up?
I don't think we have any embarrassing A's story to share this week. Do you?
It's been a pretty quiet week. They won a couple more lawsuits, though, with the stadium thing, so they're winning more in court than they are on the field, but that's okay.
Okay. All right. So that's
good. That's good news.
That's that's always what you want to hear, right? Win more in court than you do on the field?
Well, for certain teams.
Any win's a win. Any win's a win. All right, Bruntz. I feel like we've talked a lot about the defense and what they need to do all week. I'm going to ask you about the offense. How do you feel about this offense's ability to consistently put together performances like they've had so far this season? Because they have been pretty good so far. They'll play a real life defense on Saturday. No offense to the other three opponents that you've played. I guess, do you think their high flying offense will continue as we go on throughout the Oklahoma game and the start of Big Ten play?
that's the question, right? I mean, like they have, I think, shown some signs that they have some things that they can build around. I mean, going into last week, I think the question was along your point of dead defenses was, would Anthony Grant be able to continue running the way that he has and doing the things that he has? And I think that what he's shown is he's the kind of back that can be counted on. And to me, I think as long as the offense avoids getting one-dimensional, I think they can have some success. I think Casey Thompson's been pretty good. Through 3 games, I think he's been good enough to win all 3 of those games. And I think when you add Travis Vokalek back into the offense, I think that will help the picture there. The question, though, is whether or not they are going to be able to grind out some yards against good defenses. We won't know that. I don't even know that we'll really know that after this week against Oklahoma. I mean, it's just, we start thinking ahead to Wisconsin and Michigan and Iowa, and, is there going to be enough that they can do up front to kind of, stay on track there? But I'm at least cautiously optimistic that, that they can do some stuff offensively with consistency. The question now is, with Scott Frost no longer in the picture,
yes,
what does a Mark Whipple offense truly look like? And we're going to find out. But we can get into this too, but it seems like, last year against Oklahoma, what worked was kind of the grinded out, low possession type ball game. And I think they have to do that on Saturday. And it's we're going to see how equipped this offense is to play that kind of a game.
I was going to ask you about that with Frost no longer being there and being part of the offense. And I guess to answer the question, you'd probably have to, really know how much he was a factor in the first couple weeks. And I don't know where that number would be, or where the percentage would be, or whatever, if you even could get it down to that. But it has to have an effect on what they're going to do offensively, which has been the best part of this team so far.
Yeah, I mean, and you also wonder, though, too, I mean, with Mickey being the interim head coach, does his opinion now take on more weight? I think it does. But I think, too, I think Scott Frost had input. Like, he wasn't just a bystander the first 3 weeks of the season. I mean, I don't think he was actively calling plays, but I think he had quite a bit of input on what they were doing. So I don't know. I mean, does the Logan Smothers change up suddenly get thrown out with what Nebraska is doing offensively? We'll see. But I mean, I do think probably what they're going to try to hang their hat on is probably going to be more Mark Whipple and less of a collaboration between everybody.
How many points do you think they need to score on Saturday?
I don't know. Somebody asked me that today. It's a tough question because
the damn media again asking those questions.
I know, always with your questions. I don't think that Nebraska is going to win a track meet, and I'm afraid that with the defense, that's the kind of game that it's going to turn into. I do think the right approach is kind of what they did last year. Try to be efficient, try to really, put together some drives, and you kind of want one of those games, and it was definitely this way last year, where you look up in the, at the end of the first half, and you're like, oh crap, like there's only been like 3 possessions. We've only had the ball 4 times, something like that. Like, I think that's the recipe. I just don't know whether this defense can play the way that will allow Nebraska to essentially play keep away, because the thing that this defense does not do well is get off the field on third down, and there's a potential that they're not going to be able to do that. So I don't know. I mean, I think it has to be low scoring. I think the offense can put up some points, but I don't think you want to just go into a back and forth with Oklahoma, because they're going to want to play tempo.
Speaking of Mickey Joseph's sort of effect on things and his presence on things, I think the biggest part of what he brings this week is sort of an energy and a maybe even a confidence, or at least a different voice and a different buzz around the team. And he touched on it just a little bit when he talked on Tuesday, but he was basically asked, okay, so you're here, but what do we do about this defense? And he says, all right, we're going to play a little faster. And do you think that shows up on Saturday? And if they are a little bit more downhill, a little bit more aggressive on defense, the question is going to be, can those corners and can the back end of the defense hold up? Like, I don't know if we know exactly what's going to look like anyway, but then even if we do, I think there's questions off of that.
Yeah, well, tell me if I'm crazy here. Like, it seems like we're going to get a much better look at what a Mickey Joseph coach team will look like and the approach and everything else after the bye week.
I agree.
I just don't know that there is enough time with everything that's happened this week to expect a completely different looking football team, on Saturday against Oklahoma. Now, with a bye week and some time to really dig in on some things, I think you can maybe start to see a different team for that stretch of, Indiana, Rutgers, and Purdue. And that's going to be a really key. Before everything that's happened, that was going to be a key stretch anyways. But I think that's where you're going to be able to see more of the Mickey touches on things. Defensively, maybe call more blitzes. We're going to see where that safety group truly is at. And Mickey said this on Tuesday too. A lot of these big plays and busts that Nebraska's had are not, guys getting beaten. It's a guy being in the wrong gap and just, having a bust. And if you can just limit that, I mean, that's a pretty significant change from what we've seen the first 3 games from this defense. So a little smarter, a little faster, with a little more attitude, I think that's probably what you can expect in this game from Nebraska's defense. And then maybe you look at a few more bigger changes when you have a little bit more time to dig in and game plan during the bye week.
How much enthusiasm should there be looking around the rest of the division at this point in the season, looking around and seeing, oh man, Iowa's really tough on offense. They haven't been great, but they're really bad now. And Wisconsin lost and Northwestern lost to Duke. And I think Minnesota is probably the only team that you look at and say, wow, they've lived up to it over the first couple of weeks of the season. And then, like you mentioned, Bruntz, that first stretch, Indiana, Rutgers, and Purdue, that's the one we're sort of looking at. Like, how much confidence should Nebraska gain from looking around and saying, hey, look, there is still a chance to do something here. Maybe it's not win the division, but do something with the rest of the season.
Yeah. I mean, everything that's changed in the last 72 hours, what remains the same is you have the same schedule. You're still playing in a Big Ten West that looks pretty wide open right now. I think, when Trev says he had to give the team a chance, I mean, I think that's kind of what he was alluding to was, you'd make the change, you bring some energy, and you kind of rally around something with a significant portion of the season left to be played. And, oh, by the way, it allows you to start the search early and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think that, Nebraska should feel like there's still something to play for. That bowl eligibility is still out there. And, you mentioned the Big Ten West being down. I mean, the reality is that we've kind of had that conversation, I feel like, in the past, and Nebraska still struggled to beat Iowa, has, lost close games to Wisconsin, has not been able to take care of business against Illinois. So, the thing that you need to really focus on, I think, if you're Mickey Joseph, is how do you get to playing efficient, smart football? Because those are probably going to be one-score games. They're probably going to be close. And, can you do enough and make enough changes in the way that this team operates and thinks to make some of those what have been close losses in the past to those foes that you should probably beat and turn them into wins?
I think the predictions for this game are going to be way across the board, where I think most of them are pretty close to each other over the first couple of weeks of the season. Maybe not on Georgia Southern, and certainly not accurate. But I'll ask it to you this way: 1-score game or not for Nebraska-Oklahoma on Saturday?
I don't think so. I was kind of looking at it. It feels like one of those games where it's maybe like 10-14, and maybe Nebraska scores late to make it a little bit closer. I mean, I think that's kind of the game I'm expecting. What's the line right now? It's
10.5.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's probably about where I'd put it. Maybe a little bit higher than that. It's just so hard to really count on anything from Nebraska right now with the way those defenses played through 3 games, and I don't know that there's anything that I've seen through 3 weeks that leads me to believe you're going to have a drastic change. From last week to this week. So we'll see. But yeah, I would be surprised by a blowout. I just think that there's going to be a lot of energy in the stadium from, people I talk to that, after the change, I think there's a little bit more intrigue in this game. People are a little bit more interested. And I think people are at least, from the get-go willing to rally behind Mickey and his team.
All right, Bruntz, you're the guy who always is here when there's breaking news happening.
What happened?
Last week it was the Queen dying, and we all had to mourn for the first portion of the interview. Here is this today. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford have agreed to all material terms for an undisputed welterweight title fight in November in Las Vegas.
Oh wow.
That's it?
That's bigger than last week's news?
Yeah. Well, on both of them, you'd say, well, it finally happened.
Okay, so rank the 3. You have USC, UCLA joining the Big Ten, the Queen dying, and the Crawford-Spence fight.
Significant.
Most surprising of the 3.
Surprising. USC and UCLA number 1.
Okay.
Bud and Spence number 2. Queen number 3.
Yeah. Okay. That's probably how I would line them up.
All right. Well, I'm glad we'll have to, make something happen again next week when you join the show.
just constantly refresh Twitter the second I get brought on.
Thanks, Bruntz.
See ya. Michael
Bruntz of Husker 24/7, also the guy that is just here when breaking news happens. Was that too? Did my joke catch there?
The it finally happened joke? Yeah, no,
okay.
It's a good joke by you.
Thank you. All right, we will take a break. Josh's top 5 is next. Look at Josh over there getting the wheel ready.
Those are magnets, people.
Actually doing it right.
Those are magnets. You don't have to cut and tape like a child. Look at that.
Hey, by the way,
wheel looks even better.
Bud and Spence, November 19th is the date that is now. I know it's between the 12th or the 19th.
They went 19, huh?
The 19th, Nebraska is at home against Wisconsin.
Okay.
The other week would have been the 12th, and that was at Michigan. So if anybody's planning on making a trip to Vegas, going to be a lot of Nebraskans in Vegas during that stretch over the holidays this year.
Yeah, November, December, busy time for Omaha to Vegas.
Josh's top 5 is next on 1620 The Zone.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Introducing the all-new 2 for $5 menu at Sonic. Can't decide on what to eat? We made the choice a little easier for you. Right now at Sonic, you can choose any 2 of these mouth-watering classics. The full-size Fritos chili cheese wrap, small crispy jumbo popcorn chicken, or a juicy quarter-pound double cheeseburger for just $5. Get more of what you want with the all-new 2 for $5 menu, only at Sonic or in the app. Exclusions apply. Mobile ordering available at select locations. Hours may vary. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins. Fritos is a trademark of Frito-Lay North America, Inc. Copyright 2022.
Your vehicle is important. It gets you where you need to go, but it does much more than that. I'm Darcy with Dingman's Collision Center, and at Dingman's, we know your vehicle is an investment and that safety is your priority. To make sure your vehicle is as safe as it was prior to an accident, bring it to Dingman's for proper, safe, and certified repairs. We protect you and your investment. We've been voted Best of Omaha for the past 17 years. At Dingman's, we'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Find us at dingmans.com.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is and has always been locally owned and operated. Now, with 160 employee owners, chances are one of us lives in your neighborhood. We take pride in taking care of you, our customers, and keeping you comfortable all year round. And as always, our technicians don't have sales quotas. When other companies send salespeople, Standard Sense qualified technicians is just part of.
Carrier, turn to the experts.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Blood Rush! This Halloween season, Blood Rush returns bigger and better than ever before. Over 40 minutes of heart-pumping fear. Blood Rush! Journey through the darkest part of the forest where no one can hear you scream. Rated the #1 haunt in Nebraska by Cosmopolitan and Ranker. Blood Rush! Discount tickets on sale now at scareomaha.com.
Cubby's supports the PACE program with Raise Some Dough. For every large pizza sold at Cubby's in the Old Market, Cubby's gives $1 to the Police Athletic League, serving at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children with athletic and educational programs. PACE has over 5,800 program participants. The league reaches kids that would not normally be able to participate in athletics like soccer and baseball due to financial situations and family dynamics. PACE wants to give every kid the opportunity at athletics and a healthy and safe environment. If you'd like to support PACE too, go to paceomaha.org.
It's time for the gates to open. And pure evil to be released.
Scary Acres is back. Omaha's ultimate haunted attractions. The Master's Castle, House on the Hill, the Haunted Woods. Scary Acres open this Friday, 172nd and Giles. Sponsored in part by Stereo West, Raising Cane's, and Hy-Vee.
All right, time for Josh's top 5. Coming up right after this, we will spin the wheel. Josh has been getting it prepared.
Wheel is ready. It is looming in the background on 1620 The Zone TV.
Look at it. It's just sitting over your shoulder the entire show. I really like it.
Marvelous.
All right, Josh, what's the top 5 today?
Well, we have a Amazon Prime game tonight. That means we have the official start of a new NFL broadcast booth. Top 5 NFL broadcast booth.
Oh, okay. Current?
Yes, current. Got it. Good distinction by you. All time. Ooh, that would have been tough.
Mm-hmm.
But we can begin in the most obvious spot for a top 5 with number 5.
God, come on. Take forever.
Number 5.
It's Jim Nantz and Tony Romo.
Whoa.
Yeah, you didn't think you'd hear their names this early, did you? Did you?
So you're out, or you are out on Romo.
I've soured a bit on the pair the last year and a half. I initially loved Tony Romo's enthusiasm, but the more he incorrectly predicts the next play, and the more he just steps all over what Jim Nantz is trying to say, it's a little irritating.
So I went back and watched highlights from that bonkers Chiefs-Chargers game week 3 last year, the one in Kansas City that the Chargers won. And there was Romo in there. He's like, oh, so Romo was. So what happened in the game was, so week 3 they played. The Chargers got like a PI call. They went for it on 4th down. They were determined to not kick a field goal to go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to score a touchdown really bad. They got a PI call. They could have just kneeled out the time and took a field goal if they wanted to. Instead, they scored a touchdown with 40 seconds left. And then Romo lost his mind. He was like, well, that was dumb. They could have just ran out the time and kicked it. And then they missed the extra point. So then they're like, oh, well, you know what's going to happen here. They're just going to give the ball back to Mahomes and he's going to score in 40 seconds. And it didn't end up happening. But Romo was losing it. Romo's like, oh, yeah, this is happening. Sorry. The Chargers are idiots for doing this. And that was when we got first introduced to weirdo Chargers head coach who decides to just, the Chargers and the combination of the Chargers and what's the guy's name?
Brandon
again?
Staley?
Staley. The combination of the Chargers and him is just explosive because the Chargers are the weirdest franchise of all time and they've never played in a normal game before. And Brandon Staley has a war with the clock occasionally.
Yeah.
And some decision making.
Yeah, they've been in some battles together.
Yeah.
Splitting the season series.
That was fun for Romo last year.
Number 4.
Number 4 is the best booth that CBS has. Ian Eagle and Charles Davis.
Oh.
Both very polished, very intelligent about the game. They talk fast, but it's not so fast that you can't follow. You get a lot of info in an Eagle Davis booth.
We will be getting Ian Eagle, Charles Davis this week. Have you seen the maps for the weekend?
I've seen the maps. I didn't pay any attention to who's calling what game.
Well, the game that we're getting with Ian Eagle and Charles Davis is the Patriots and the Steelers, which sounds cool, but isn't that cool.
No, you know what is cooler? Dolphins Ravens.
Nope, we're not getting that.
Not getting it. Because
there's only like 2 parts of the country that are getting it.
Because we have to placate to the Steelers' national fan base.
And the Patriots.
And
who
the Patriots
are terrible.
Yeah. Also, Ian Eagle, sneaky funny.
Oh yeah, he's good.
That was the other note that I wanted.
He's become a voice for me that is synonymous with the NCAA tournament.
Okay, sure.
Also good at football, but
yeah, he's got he can call anything.
The other game that we get, the CBS late window, by the way, this week, is Houston and Denver. Right here in Omaha, so that'll be cool.
Terrible.
You could drive to Des Moines and get Cincinnati and Dallas.
It's more interesting. I don't know what game will be the better played football contest, but Bengals Cowboys is more interesting.
That will be broadcast. The Cincinnati Dallas game, which we will not get here in Omaha, will be Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. The Houston Denver game, which we will be getting in Omaha, will be Andrew Catalan and James Lofton. Did they make your top 5, Josh?
They did not, Connor. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry to the Lofton heads out there. But we go to number 3.
3. Combination of 3 and 5.
Number 3.
Number 3 on the list of top 5 NFL broadcast booths. It's Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit.
Wow, haven't even done a game together, and they're number 3.
This is almost solely on the strength of Al Michaels.
Yeah.
I love listening to him call a game, even at the age of 77.
Al's great. How will he work with Kirk?
Yeah, they did one preseason game together. It got good reviews. We know Herbie can do color in a booth.
Herbie's good. I'm just worried about him.
I'm worried about his health by December.
How does he do this? So I actually saw one of his TikToks. He's got like a social media team.
Sure.
And he did he put out a TikTok, and it started of like, here's a day with me. 6:30 in the morning, he's in wherever game day is, and they do game day and the whole thing, and then he finishes that, and then they're in Austin, and then they fly over to Palo Alto because they got to do the night game with USC and Stanford, and man, you add a Thursday on top of that.
They're still putting them on a plane Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I guess it'd be probably Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
So yeah, Wednesday, or maybe he flies out after the game tonight. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
It's 3 different places.
It's going to wear down on Kirk.
He's going to really love the weekend where, the Thursday to Sunday stretch, or the Thursday to Saturday stretch, where he only has to be in 2 cities, which is just insane.
Andy on the YouTube.
Hey, Andy.
Herbie must despise his family.
No, I listened to his book that one time. He's got a golden retriever. His wife was a cheerleader.
Of course his wife is a cheerleader.
He loves his family.
He is Americana.
He is. He really is.
Here comes 2.
Number 2.
Frosted Tips back in the day, too.
What a career that man's made off of throwing 11 touchdowns in his career.
Oh, come on. It wasn't off of that. He's good at what he does.
He's very good at what he does.
He got into radio first and then local TV, and then all of a sudden he was doing a game.
Get it. You listen to the book.
Happened fast.
Number 2 is Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. World's most famous Italian, Mike Tirico, debuts at number 2.
If only it was Al.
Mm-hmm.
If only it was Al. Then
Yeah.
we'd have a clear number 1 here.
Yeah, I think so. I like Mike Tirico. I love how he calls the game. He's very calm. He does get into that robust enthusiasm sometimes, but not overly so.
Wow. So this leaves old Monday Night Football at number 1.
I don't love Chris Collinsworth, but he does. I got to admit, he does analyze the football.
Al, yeah.
Oh, I don't like that, Al.
Well, it was tough for him on Sunday night when he didn't have a voice.
Yeah, and Tirico was busting his chops about it, which I liked. Like, you wouldn't think, hey, first booth together, that they'd be that joking together, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that does leave number 1. It is a rather obvious choice, but it's the choice we're going with. Who's the best duo in the game?
Make it so, number 1.
Where's Kevin Kugler and Mark Sanchez?
Number 1.
Just on the outside.
Garbage.
I wanted to make room for the Kevin Kugler joke, and it wasn't there. There's too many good boots. I need a better pairing than Sanchez.
Well, if you just stay together long enough, you're gonna
or that.
I mean,
develop a rapport.
Look at Buck and Aikman.
Mm-hmm. They are number 1. I'm glad it worked out to where they didn't have to break up for a year. I'm glad Fox was like, no, it's okay, Joe, you can go. They did seem distracted week 1 on ESPN, but
it just doesn't feel like ESPN has to restore the Fox and CBS on Sundays and Sunday afternoons, and especially on NBC Sunday night. Like there's this sort of like regalness to their broadcast, right? The Monday Night Football broadcast for the last decade plus have felt like almost like, oh, here's a fun stupid thing that we have. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It almost feels like it almost has felt like the kids broadcast. That's probably really offensive, but it almost has felt like that. And now you have Buck and Aikman, and they have to do this for a while to sort of restore that feeling. I think.
I didn't think it would bother me Monday night. I thought, oh yeah, it'll be like old hat. And then I watched them and I went, these are not the right graphics on the screen. What is happening? Something is wrong. These are not the images that are supposed to accompany the voice of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Yep.
What is happening?
Why aren't they saying ba-da-dum, ba-da-da?
Why isn't Troy Aikman criticizing everyone like he does in the fourth quarter of games? Why did he let Nathaniel Hackett off the hook?
Matt comments on our YouTube stream. The Sunday games are like, this is football. Watch it.
They're daring me not to this week. Patriots, Steelers.
I have a hard time disagreeing, Josh. I like that until further notice. Maybe Al and Kirk, although it seems pretty short term, right?
Yeah, Al's 77.
Al's a million years old.
Mm-hmm.
It seems relatively short term.
I'm a little interested in the surrounding bits of Thursday Night Football tonight. They got Ryan Fitzpatrick and Richard Sherman working the studio. I assume there will be a host. I don't know who the host is.
Yeah, they're gonna do any wacky zany stuff like they would on the broadcast last year. They would have like Cousin Sal show up and he would do a bit and pick a game or something like that.
I think they do have to do something to be noticed, or are they going to try and imitate the stuffy, typical broadcast to show that, like, hey, we know what we're doing?
No, it's Thursday night. You got to do something goofy.
I agree.
You can afford to do something weird. All right. Get your Amazon Primes out. Where's the Amazon Prime channel?
Is that one of the memes I sent? No, I haven't sent that one out yet, so I will send it out now. One of the many memes.
What channel is the game on?
What time do the girls play?
Who's pitching tonight? All right. We will come back with the wheel. It's time. Look at it. Don't spin it yet because we don't want any false alarms here.
No.
So coming back on the other side, we have a wheel of coaches, as you could see if you're watching on 1620 The Zone TV. We have compiled a list. I explained this earlier, but we have compiled a list of I believe 55 potential coaches, some of which are real possibilities and some of which are not. But there is just a large pile. We will spin it. We will talk about that coach's candidacy. And then after we do that, we will replace them with another coach. We'll spin it every day for the next 11 weeks until Nebraska has a coach. And I think that actually is going to end up being about the right time. December 1st, this will take us to if we do it every day.
Championship weekend.
It's perfect. Nebraska will have a coach by then, and we can just kill this damn bit already. But it's going to be fun, damn it!
Yeah.
Next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Woodhouse Ford is your certified Ford dealer, serving drivers throughout Nebraska for 47 years. Our commitment to our customers continues well beyond the date of purchase. You will leave our lot feeling comfortable and confident in your new vehicle. Customers have been relying on Woodhouse Ford since 1975 for high-quality vehicles, knowledgeable staff, and exceptional service. Experience the Woodhouse Ford difference and shop at one of our 3 locations in-store or online at woodhouseford.com.
Malarkey shingles are durable, high-performance, impact-resistant, and beautiful. Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is a certified Malarkey shingle residential contractor. For a free estimate, call Carp's Complete Exteriors or visit carpsomaha.com.
Psst, come here. I got a secret weapon that'll make your family happy. Real happy. It's my new caramel toffee cookie combo. My big chocolate chip cookie covered with caramel and toffee bits. Add any medium specialty pizza piled high with the best toppings and loads of mozzarella on top. Plus any medium one-topping pizza. Caramel toffee cookie combo. Order now. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
For more than 30 years, Rossi Clothiers has been the destination for men like yourself who would like to wear unique and timeless clothes. And September 19th through the 26th, Rossi Clothiers invites you to an exclusive Samuelson design event. You'll find special prices on suits, jackets, and trousers in styles and designs that you just can't find at any other men's clothing store. So come in for the Samuelson design event September 19th through the 26th at Rossi Clothiers in Rockbrook Village.
Dell Technologies' semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
Gain presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer-lasting scent.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
Get ready for kickoff, Omaha. Rally House has the game day gear you're looking for, including Chiefs sideline gear and the latest college styles.
Nebraska, Huskers, Creighton, Blue Jays, Hawkeye, Cyclones, Chiefs, and Royals. Rally House, Rally House. It's your city, it's your house, it's a Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We continue to grow and add new customers. Many employers are looking for new ideas for their staff as people return to the office. Our pantry service is a great office amenity for staff and guests. Fresh food, snacks, coffee, water, and other beverages for employees and guests. Enhance your office experience with pantry service from Host Coffee. Learn more at hostcoffee.net.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
All right, if you're into visual aids, now's the time. 1620 The Zone TV. You can find it at 1620thezone.com or on YouTube there as well. Look at that, a graphic. The Wheel of Coaches. Now, eventually, we will have a wheel cam. But I actually do like the visual of Josh just hanging out with it like it's a kid.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? How you doing, buddy?
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We'll spin the wheel. We will talk about whichever coach it lands on and their potential candidacy for the job we have several categories lined up, and we could probably use some more categories too. So you guys can sort of suggest those to us, but we'll rate those, each coach in each category, on a scale of 1 to 5. Josh is a big 1 to 5 guy. That's how he rates his movies.
5 is the best, 1 is the worst.
Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We have a bunch of categories set aside today, and we maybe could have some more if you guys got in touch with the show. Are we ready?
I think for the radio audience, we should kind of quickly list who is on the wheel right now.
Oh, that's a good idea.
There are 8 spaces. It starts with Mickey Joseph, and then we go around the horn here. We got Baylor's Dave Aranda, assistant at Miami, Josh Gaddis. Am I saying that right? There's a glare here.
That's right.
ESPN's Mina Kimes, who volunteered for the job.
That's why she's on the list. She's in the pile.
Bengals coach Zach Taylor, who people forget 1 year ago was on a very hot seat. Utah's Quadzilla, Kyle Whittingham. Fox's Urban Meyer. And finally, Jamie Chadwell from Coastal Carolina.
Would you like to explain the methodology in why you ended up on these 8 today? Were they just in a pile and you just grabbed a couple?
I tried very hard to take one from each pile. I knew Mickey had to be on the wheel from the start, since the job is currently his.
Okay.
The Power 5, I was able to take 2 from. You know, it's the first time out. You want some big names on the wheel, Connor.
Now, what if we spin the wheel and it lands on Nebraska's actual next coach the first day? Would we be
amazing?
Okay. I'm just saying that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. You would hear it first from 1620 The Zone's Connor Happer.
The Connor Happer Show.
Who the next, we brought you great hits like Hey, the Queen is Dead and Nebraska's next head coach.
Good question from Greg and Lincoln. How long did Josh spend at Nobby's gathering materials for this wheel?
Greg, funny you should ask. None. The wheel is from our promotions department.
We just have a wheel.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of having several radio stations in one building.
And these are paper. Used a lot of color ink.
Mm-hmm. And they're behind magnets, so it looks nice.
Yeah, these are magnets. You'd be a moron not to know that.
All right, Josh, give it a rip.
All right.
Really rip it.
Okay, that was going to be my question before I spun it. Do we want a hard spin? Do we want a soft spin?
I think we got to go. I mean, it's got to go a couple times around. It's a pretty stiff.
It can handle a lot.
The thing, the whatever that's called, it's pretty stiff.
Yeah. All right, we ready?
Rip it. Oh, God. It has landed on a very boring candidate.
It really has.
One that won't be the coach here. And I think people would be pretty offended if they, not offended, but it wouldn't come with the greatest reception if.
Well, that's one of the categories, Connor.
Sure is.
It has landed on Miami assistant Josh Gaddis.
Miami's offensive coordinator, Josh Gaddis, who comes to us from the Power 5 coordinator section. He shares this category with Jim Leonard, Bill O'Brien. Somebody recommended the Kentucky DC, so he's on there. And Whipple. I don't know if any of these people will be the head coach. I think it probably seems unlikely. But to the categories, rating 1 to 5. We will start with the category of gettability. So likelihood that he will leave his current spot for Nebraska. If he was offered the head coach job at Nebraska, the likelihood that he would accept that job, I would rate this at a 5.
Even though it's his first year in Miami?
Yeah, I think if Josh Gaddis was offered a head coach job at Nebraska, I think he would accept it.
Okay.
It's a 5 for me. Fan buzz if hired. What would the fans think of this? Would they be happy? Would they be sad? It's really a sad to happy scale. It's 1 to 5. I think it would be a 1.
Yeah, this wouldn't be as WTF as Mike Riley, but it would be, there would be
Mike
a lot
Riley
of,
not in the pile, by the way.
Yeah. There would be a lot of, huh? Who?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What are we doing here?
Cool. I mean, we're going to hire a guy who does fancy offense. Fun. Category number 3, recruiting acumen. The recruiting acumen. Josh Gaddis is known as a pretty dang good recruiter with a good offense. I would say that he would be able to recruit at a place like Nebraska. It might be a different look than what we're sort of preparing for, which we were talking about this with Sam. Like, I think this is ultimately going to be kind of a Big Ten-y hire, for lack of a better term, I suppose. Josh Gaddis doesn't really fit into that category, but recruiting acumen, pretty good. I would say this is a 4. Give me a 4.
Okay.
Projected success. Scale of 1 to 5. Would it work? Two.
Ooh.
2.
Now, you know he was the assistant of the year last year.
That's right. But first Power 5 job, first head coaching job. In general, that hurts. Like I said, not very Big Ten-y. This would, should we put this could be fun. So this is a not 1 to 5 category, but how many years would he be the head coach here?
Yeah, I like that.
Let's do that. Let's add that in here. How many years? 3.
That's the number I was thinking.
Okay. Chaos factor. There are some people in this pile of names that we specifically created this category for. There is one on the wheel right now, and it happens to be an ESPN personality.
Oh,
There's
yes.
also another one on the wheel that happens to be a Fox personality. That would be pretty high on the chaos factor as well.
Pretty high.
Like 3. Middle of the road. It would be surprising, right?
Yeah, and that's where the chaos would come from.
Right. Basically, what would everybody else say about this? How surprising is it? Chaos factor 3. Would scare divisional opponents is another category I have lined up. Would this strike fear into Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Northwestern, Illinois? Or maybe I should just say, would scare the Big Ten?
Josh was at Michigan last year.
Mm-hmm. 2.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else is going to go, oh, they got their guy, huh?
Right, exactly. That's well said. Well put. Salary command. What do we think Josh Gaddis is making right now?
Assistant of the year, you had to woo him away from Michigan to Miami.
He is making $1 million.
That sounds about right.
Oh no, his salary was set to increase to $1 million at Michigan. In 2022. So
I would think you would have to
more of that.
You'd have to go a tick above that to get him to move.
This has got to be public information. Mike Ryan, the executive producer of the Dan Le Batard Show, who is plugged in with the inner workings of Miami football, stated that Gaddis would make upwards of $2 million.
Whoa. Okay, yeah.
Annually.
And Florida, no state tax, state income tax.
3.
Okay.
I mean, basically, it's compared to anybody else that you would hire. Not necessarily like in the grand scheme of things, compared to anybody else you would hire.
This would be a very low cost replacement for Scott
Correct.
Frost.
Not very, but low cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 or 3? 3. Let's say 3 because that's what I started with. 2 more categories. These are some of the fun ones. Awkwardness at opening press conference. How would Josh Gaddis respond when he is asked, hey, have you talked to Tom Osborne about the gig yet?
Yeah.
Josh Gaddis is originally from North Carolina. Went to Wake Forest. Has been a coach at North Carolina, Western Michigan, Vanderbilt, Penn State, Alabama, Michigan, and Miami. He'll get a head coaching job soon enough.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be this one. Awkwardness at press conference. Also 3. Not the middle of the road. Not as awkward as it could be. But
Nebraska hiring him would be the awkward part.
And also probably a little in over his head.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to the final category that I have lined up, which is readiness for job. Readiness for this particular job. I would say that he is a 2.
Yeah, he's going to get one, but
not here, not now.
Yeah. And it might even be this offseason that he gets one.
Yeah, maybe.
That is possible.
Chris writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox, says, Frost was the National Coach of the Year in 2018, so that should work out. LOL. Where he said Assistant Coach of the Year.
Yeah, different award. Same idea, though.
Troy Walters, I believe, won the Broyles Award that year for top assistant coach, if I'm not mistaken. Once again. All right, that's the wheel.
It was a rousing success, right?
Yeah, I thought it was super fun.
We got it on camera.
And better yet, we spun it, and that was the fun part.
Yeah. Not everything's for you, audience.
All right, so off goes Josh Gaddis. Off the board.
I don't have fingernails.
That's okay. You don't have to do this yet.
It's ceremonial, though. Oh, that was easy.
Wow.
Gone.
Off he goes. And tonight, when Josh does more arts and crafts time, he will put another person on there.
It's fun. I like a little project.
Question from the text line.
Anybody want that? Can we raffle it off for charity?
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. This was used on the wheel. What? The wheel? On the Connor Happer show? From the text line, would Gaddis say the Big Ten would have to adjust to him? That would create some awkwardness.
It's possible, but yes, that would be awkward.
And that is the first edition of the wheel. We will do this every day until Nebraska has a head coach.
A lot of names.
A lot of names.
Get used to it. I'm going to try and replace him with a Power 5 coordinator.
Oh, okay. So you're going from the same pool.
I'm going to for a while because
that pool is a little shorter.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the Mina Kimes category only has her and Ndamukong Suh and Damon.
Oh, it has Damon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damon demanded this morning that we take him off the list. And I said, no chance, buddy. We will talk about Damon's candidacy for this job at some point. It will be fun.
He will get triggered.
Also, there is one category with just one person, and that is Mickey Joseph.
Yes.
He's out of the Mickey Joseph category. So you'll have to figure out something else when we replace Mickey on the list.
The current Power 5 head coaches has a large swath.
Yeah. All right, that's the wheel. We'll come back. Bill Moose has some quotes. Yes, that's right. Bill Moose. Next on 1620 The Zone.
It's an NFL doubleheader on Sports USA. And first, we're in the Big Easy as Jamison Kamara try to topple Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then it's off to San Francisco as DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett soar into San Francisco to face Lance, Kittle, and the right back Deebo Samuel.
Caught, touchdown, George Kittle.
It's the Bucs at the Saints, then the Seahawks at the Niners. This Sunday on Sports USA.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Another warm and breezy day ahead Thursday with partly to mostly cloudy skies. South wind will gust 20 to 30 miles per hour. We'll be dry in the metro heading into the evening with a chance for a few showers and storms out to the west. Highs in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Brookside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Brookside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now. 402-671-7777.
Hey everybody, it's Gary Sharp on behalf of my friends at Tickets for Less. As you probably heard by now, Tickets for Less is my go-to source whenever I need Husker tickets. But I want you to know that Tickets for Less has a lot more to offer. Did you know they have the largest selection of tickets to events both locally and nationwide? Plus, the thing I like the most, they never charge you outrageous per ticket service fees on your order. That's why I always use Tickets for Less. Whether I want to go to Arrowhead and see the Chiefs play, attend a concert or a show, ticketsforless.com is my first stop. See for yourself at ticketsforless.com.
Dell Technologies' semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
Moments like watching my grandson steal second mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The big box stores have a secret. When you walk out the door with a new purchase, that's where the service ends. At Ty's Outdoor Power and Service, you get great deals on brands like Hustler, Toro, Honda, and Steel. Plus, you get a dedicated experienced service center. With annual maintenance and repairs, your equipment will last longer and perform when you need it most. See us in Lincoln, Omaha, or Gretna and get 10% off your residential service. Visit TysOutdoorPower.com, promo code radio, or mention radio to redeem.
The passion and excitement of high school football continues every week, and the high school football update covers it all every Saturday morning. Join veteran sportscasters Jim Kelter and Torrey Pantalian Saturday mornings 8 to 10 on 1180 The Zone.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
Imagine this. November 19th, 2022. Nebraska takes down Wisconsin to pick up their 5th win of the year, setting up a scenario in just 6 days where they'll go to Iowa City for a chance to be bowl eligible for the first time since 2016. And on that same night, Terrence Crawford knocks out Errol Spence in the 9th round and leaves no doubt that he is the undisputed welterweight champion of the world.
Oh, wow. That would be a high I'm not sure I felt in a very long time.
Well, it's all possible because November 19th, both of those things, well, I don't know about both of those results, but it's possible because both of those events are happening. Bud Crawford, Errol Spence, November 19th. Now, ESPN Ringside reports this, and they have a caveat. The caveat is this. The deal has not been signed as the parties' lawyers clean up legal language in the agreement, but they have agreed to all material terms, which is, you know,
the money split.
You're pretty far down the road at that point. It's happening, finally. Maybe it's a year or 2 or 3 years too late, but it's happening. And then Bud can just walk off and say, I'm the champion of the world, and I don't know, retire, or probably doesn't have too many left.
Yeah, he's talked about it before, that he is beginning to feel he's close.
Yeah. That's after Nebraska beats Wisconsin earlier that day. Should be fun. You could pull the Kirk Herbstreit method. Just fly to Vegas on a private jet on the PJ out of Lincoln. Land, take the limo over to wherever it's going to be, the MGM, I don't know. And just ride out and catch fight night in Vegas. A lot of possibilities for November 19th, Josh. A lot of possibilities.
Let's go.
Bill Moose has been quoted in response to Scott Frost being fired on Sunday. Ivan Mizell writes this for On3. Article titled, Can Nebraska Repeat the Past? That's a good question. He's thanking himself for the good question already in the headline of the story.
I told Scott he was a good coach, and Scott agreed.
One of the best lines of the press conference from Trev on Sunday. I told Scott he was pretty good, and he said, yeah, I'm good. Would you like to hear some Bill Moose quotes? They may trigger you.
Been waiting.
Here's Bill. Scott said, I want to have the Husker toughness and the Oregon finesse. Bill Moose, the retired Nebraska athletic director who hired Frost, said Tuesday, that recipe just never folded into a good product. Toughness used to be the Nebraska trademark. Lineman who could fill a doorway and block the light behind it. From 1970 through 1997, the Huskers had an All-American lineman in 25 of 28 seasons. Quote, I went to practice every Wednesday just to watch the game plan being put in, said Bill Byrne, the athletic director, when Nebraska won 3 national championships in the 90s. I watched the wars on the line of scrimmage, and it was a war. Anyway, all right. Nebraska was good in the 90s. We get it. Moose says, quote, the Big Ten, to many of those fans, never felt right and still doesn't. Says Moose, now retired and living on his farm in eastern Washington. It's a ranch. How dare you, Ivan? The Big Red that used to pile in its station wagons and fill opposing stadiums in the Big 8 is still traveling, but it's hard to drive to West Lafayette and East Lansing and State College and College Park. Quote, it always kind of felt like a shoe that didn't fit, Moose said. It kind of hurt. And this is a pretty good window into the events that ultimately unfolded in the summer and fall of 2020. Remember, it was a bit of an adversarial tone when Scott Frost spoke about playing games under any circumstances, regardless of what conference they're in or whatever it was at the time. That whole thing was so screwed up. And while I think it emboldened Nebraska fans to say, look, this is, maybe you're right. Maybe this isn't the right home for us. This was always going to be the home. Nebraska's not going anywhere for the Big Ten, and they shouldn't. So you either got to figure it out and like it, like being in the Big Ten and say you like it, or you're just not going to have success. There's so much focusing on all, like this is Moose and Frost. There's just so much focusing on all this other stuff. And I think a lot of it ultimately ended up on Frost's shoulders because, Moose kind of enabled him to do that. And, Frost ran the show when he got here. And that really bubbled up in that summer and fall of 2020. Moose says this, quote, in the Big Ten, you got to close your splits, put your hand in the dirt, and play physical. Moose said, a part of it is the black and blue image and legacy and tradition of the Big Ten. They can throw it. They have great skill players. But you get into the last half of October and November, you better be able to run the ball, and you better be able to stop it. So there is Bill Moose, in essence, giving us the formula to winning Big Ten football games. And I don't know, just hoping that his coach is able to either figure it out, A, or B, execute it. I don't know, man. This is part of the reason I feel pretty dang good about where Nebraska's at from a hiring perspective this time around. Because they got an athletic director who clearly has a vision of what he wants this thing to be, and that vision includes all of the things around him. Bill Moose said it out loud. Never felt good, never felt right in the Big Ten. Still doesn't. Bill Moose was a guy who was pretty dang nostalgic. He thought about college football there was the whole story about how he, as a kid, created this whole college football universe. He made up schools and athletic directors and broadcasters and stuff like that. I think he thought about college football in a really nostalgic way. And I think Scott Frost thought about college football in a really nostalgic way. They talked often about mixing the 90s with the new finesse and doing things like they did in the 90s. What did Trev Alberts say on Sunday? We are going to stop talking about what we did and start doing things. And yeah, it's much easier said than done that way. But Trev is a very here and now guy. It's right in front of you, and he has a good understanding of what the situation is, and he's going to put his head down and attempt to fix it. That is important because Nebraska's circumstances, maybe this is advice for the new head coach and administration in the past. Maybe the situation isn't always going to be great. But how do we fix it? How do we take what we have right now and make it better? That's more Trev Alberts than Bill Moose. That's for sure. So I don't know. Like I said, and I've been asking people this question. I asked Sam and then Mitch yesterday, like, how does this thing work out if Trev Alberts gets here a little bit earlier? I don't know. And without saying it, the implication of the question is, what happens if Bill Moose isn't Scott Frost's athletic director? What happens if Scott Frost has some more guardrails when he gets here? And to not make it sound like it's all his fault, not only guardrails, but some help. Right? Scott Frost was a young coach who was doing this for the first time at a school in a place of this magnitude, and he thought that he had all of the answers. Because that's all he knew. They had won when he was at Oregon. It took 2 years for him to go undefeated at UCF, and he thought he had all the answers. And guess who else thought he had all the answers? His boss. That's not healthy. And this is, by the way, clear warning here. This is all hindsight. None of us were saying this at the time. But as we watched it unfold, I mean, I think this is a key deal here. Scott Frost thought he had all the answers. Bill Moose thought Scott Frost had all the answers. So Bill Moose let Scott Frost do his thing. He didn't interfere. He was largely sort of the figurehead. And meanwhile, the department as a whole, I think, suffered because of that as well. That's another thing. You can't just do things because it happened in the past. We hired Scott Frost. We hired Fred Hoiberg. They won. They are winners. They will win. You notice the shift change here on the new boss? And maybe it ends up the same. I don't know. Maybe the guy that Trev gets is a failure. Maybe it sucks. But I like the process here. Because there is one. And once again, hindsight warning. But I do wonder about that. I was thinking about that late a couple nights ago. Like, what does that look like if Bill Moose isn't there, sort of, thinking, all right, done my job. Isn't that sort of the impression that we've gotten in the days, weeks, months, years after Bill Moose has left the building?
Ooh, 4:50, almost worked the whole day. Got to go.
Yeah. That's tough. It's got to be all of the things. And all the people helping each other. All right. We will come back and we'll round the show with the poll questions. Tell you what to watch tonight next on 1620 The Zone.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Hey, it's Damon. Are you looking for a good time on the way home from a football game on a Friday night or out and about on a Saturday afternoon? The answer is yes. Ted and Wally's Ice Cream is for you. That's right. Ted and Wally's, the best time with over 3,000 flavors of homemade greatness of ultra premium ice cream with locally sourced ingredients. That makes it creamier, tastier, and that much more amazing. So stop in and pick up some pints, quarts, or half gallons. Again, 2 great locations, Benson and the Old Market, celebrating 35 great years, or you can visit tedwallies.com.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
The 2022-23 Creighton sports season holds great promise for competing for Big East and national honors, and 1620 The Zone will be there all year long. The 1620 The Jays podcast covers all of Blue Jay sports, from volleyball, soccer, and cross country in the fall to basketball in the winter, plus baseball, softball, tennis, golf, and rowing. Join me, John Bishop, along with Josh Peterson and Connor Happer each week for interviews with Creighton student athletes and coaches. It's the 1620 The Jays podcast. New episodes each Friday on 1620thezone.com and on Twitter at 1620 The Jays.
Woodhouse Ford is your certified Ford dealer, serving drivers throughout Nebraska for 47 years. Our commitment to our customers continues well beyond the date of purchase. You will leave our lot feeling comfortable and confident in your new vehicle. Customers have been relying on Woodhouse Ford since 1975 for high-quality vehicles, knowledgeable staff, and exceptional service. Experience the Woodhouse Ford difference and shop at one of our 3 locations in-store or online at woodhouseford.com.
Can't wait for Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard's September 23rd fall opening? Well then, come to the Cider and Sunflower Festival, September 16th, 17th, and 18th. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is open 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday, with fireworks on Friday, and Sundays till 9 p.m. Season passes will be accepted during this festival weekend, and you can purchase individual tickets online and at the gate. So come on out at Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska.
I did a site visit and the space is absolutely incredible.
Este's Reiki Clinic is opening another studio across town.
But there's a lot to wrap up.
But staffing an entire office requires more than just deep breathing.
And at least 4 new practitioners.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When you're a kid and it feels like no one is in your corner, it's a pretty tough place to be. And let's not forget the spikes in depression and anxiety from the pandemic. That's where Teammates can help. When kids have mentors through Teammates, they're more likely to feel engaged in school and more hopeful for the future. Just by simply being there, mentors can make students feel confident in their own skin, even when everything else seems to go wrong. Become a mentor and be there for a student by going to teammates.org. A message from JTech Construction, proud supporter of Teammates Mentoring.
All right, a couple tweets in from the previous segment here on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. This one's from Saucy Nug.
Love it.
Listening to your show, did you say what if Trev was the AD in 17? What would be different? Do you think you would have hired anyone but Frost? Maybe Bud Frost.
He coached like Bud, am I right, guys?
But Frost. Got him! Maybe better guidance, but make no mistake, Frost would have been hired. I'm not as sure as you are, first of all. And mostly I was talking about like sooner as in maybe not when he got I don't know. I don't know what the right sort of time frame is. But let's go back. Let's
and
say,
certainly there would have been some guardrails at the beginning of Frost's time here.
Well, let's say it was
here.
Trev. Let's say it was Trev when they took the job to market in late November of 2017. I'm not as convinced as you are. Like I said, it would have been pretty surprising to not. And obviously he would have been high on the list. I just think there probably would have been more due diligence done. Once again, I repeat, this is all in hindsight. But does he hire Frost? Probably. But I don't think it's an open shut case. Amazing Daniel says, I think he would have gotten fired sooner or maybe not even hired by Trev. Alberts would have actually interviewed him and not just asked how much money he wanted. Certainly, he wouldn't have extended him and Hoiberg, who would be gone too. Yeah, that's closer to where I'm at. One quick phone call here from Nate before we get out of here. Hi, Nate.
There is no way on God's green earth Trev Alberts hires Scott Frost.
That's closer to
none.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
One, Trev absolutely is the bigger than the program guy. He's not going to yield to fan expectation. Two, Scott Frost's number one glaring weakness as a human being, as a coach, is his absolutely out of control ego and hard-headedness and pride. Trev is antithetical to those. The first meeting would have closed the door on that possibility. There's no way. None. That's all I got to say.
Thanks, Nate. Appreciate it. So we've gotten both ends of the spectrum here. And I agree with the points. I don't think Trev is a guy who would succumb to the fan pressure or anything like that. Although we do have to put ourselves back in 2017. We thought and we wanted Scott Frost to be the coach from October of that year on. That was basically this stretch that we're going into right now. Imagine a however many week coaching search and everybody's convinced on the one guy. That's going to be very different than this time around. The exact opposite, in fact. So you do have to put yourself back in that time a little bit, but I'm closer to that. Like I just don't know. I don't think I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they were really on the same page when they were here at the same time. That should sort of inform that a little bit as well. All right. Poll questions. I would actually like to talk about that a little bit more. We're out of time now. Do you have Amazon Prime? Yes. 83% have it. But can they find it?
This is also going to be one of those, how can you tell if someone doesn't have Amazon Prime? Don't worry. They'll tell you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Type of things.
I don't have this. The NFL is my God-given right.
It's going to be a train wreck at 7:15 tonight.
Chargers, Chiefs, who you got? Oh, we haven't done this yet. This is a poll question. Okay, Josh. Chiefs minus 4.5, Chargers plus 4.5.
Ooh, 4.5. I'll say it's a field goal game.
I was thinking the same. I think it's going to be a little wacko.
Chiefs without their kicker tonight.
I don't want to be on the same side as you, so I'll just say Chiefs by a touchdown.
Okay.
Red Kingdom. I'll select Chiefs. 73% agree. Is tennis dead?
Yep. We might have killed it on the show today.
All the way dead. 58% say no. A lot of memes of Josh. Would you get the lengthening procedure? Now, would you like to explain what this is supposed to say?
I was so concerned about spelling lengthening correctly that I turned the word leg into the word length. I did not edit my tweet because the mistake is funnier.
No, I would not get the lengthening procedure. I would also not get the leg lengthening procedure. 68% also would not. Is Racco on the shelf? You bet it is. I got Racco. Basically, nobody voted in this, and 75% say no. This is maybe our least voted on poll question of all time. Do you want your team to win more in court than on the field?
It's a quote from Bruntz.
I don't think you want that. No. 78% agree. Bigger story. Death of the Queen. Spence Crawford announced. I think I know which way this is going, so I'm going to vote Death of the Queen. Wow. 74% say Spence Crawford announced.
Sure.
I agree.
Kind of overwhelming.
And those are the poll questions. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching the NFL, of course. Chargers, Chiefs, 7 o'clock on Amazon Prime. It re-airs at midnight on NFL Network. I remember reading an article a while back that said there is an on-demand option after the game ends on Prime, but I don't remember it enough to go report that as fact. So I think I remember reading it. I don't remember.
Use media, just report.
Yeah, just
You're supposed
report
to
whatever
report
you
what you
hear.
know, yeah.
Big Fox is countering tonight with a baseball game. Pirates Mets 6:00.
Well, I hope that works out for him.
I'm sure it won't. Padres and America's team, the Diamondbacks, 9:00 on MLB Network. Game 3 of the WNBA Finals. The series shifts to Connecticut for Aces Suns. Game 3, 8:00 on ESPN. Vegas leads that one 2-0. And Atlanta returns tonight at 9:00 on FX, the 4th and final season premiere. They are known for their episode synopsises. I will read today's to you. Keep in mind, I did not write this. I am simply reading it. Woo, child. ATL is the ghetto these days. I'm thinking about moving to Miami where it's safe. Leave all my exes on red.
Thank you.
How'd I do?
Pretty well.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was funny.
Had no confidence in it.
Yeah, it was good. That's what we're watching tonight.
That's what we're watching tonight.
And that is the show. Have fun watching baseball, everybody, because that's
America's
what we're watching.
team.
All right. That is the show. 1620thezone.com is where you can find the podcast. A lot of good stuff today. We spun the wheel for the first time. We're gonna tweak. We're gonna get better as we go along. But that's
the
show.
biggest shift in wheel spinning is from between spin 1 and spin 2. Everybody knows that.
That's what I always say. Crossovers next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.